you ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Whether you just started or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down.
This hobby is a part of our life, and whatever we decide to play, let's all remember to be good to each other. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry and Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 303 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsleymac, is here again. How you doing, Mike?
Hello. Glad to be here.
Excellent.
Once again.
Got the tincture rolling? Just kidding.
Didn't take any.
I don't. I'm just giving you shit. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, and we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well, especially like with our roundtable episodes. But we've been producing audio episodes for almost 6 years now, and now we produce a live show on YouTube, Twitch, and now our Discord stage channel where you can interact with us live in the chat. And our new day and time is Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And please, if you're in the chat tonight, don't be shy. Speak up if there's something you have an opinion on. That's why we love you guys here that show up, because we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your takes on what we're going to be talking about tonight. And of course, we're going to be talking about the new Bungie reveal. So a lot to cover tonight. But like I said, if you cannot make the live show and you want to hear a playback of it, it is available on my Twitch and my YouTube channel. So check that out if you were like across the pond and in bed right now, or in Germany, half asleep. So I know we have some members over there who like to watch our live show, but if not, just you go to the playback on my YouTube or Twitch channel and you're good to go. In this episode, Kingsleymac, of course, will go over our week in gaming and life. Next, Kingsleymac, we and I both will give our impressions of this week's big Bungie Edge of Fate reveal stream. And hopefully you caught my live stream of the event, the live stream of the live stream. And we discussed it afterwards. I thought it was some good input there. It is also replayable on my YouTube and Twitch channel if you want to see our very fresh impressions once we watched it. The one thing that we can count on, though, with this big reveal event is that with all the information they shared, there's just as many questions arising from all of it. So it's been the bulk of our discussions this week in our Discord chat channel, in our Discord community. By the way, if you do want to join the conversation and be a part of our community, you can go to discord.gg/Guardian Downcast for the invite link, and instantly you'll be right there. We're also going to go over this week in Destiny. That's Bungie's weekly blog, has some important information as well. Something that's happening tomorrow that I'm kind of excited about. As we do nearly every week, we'll look to our Discord community for any questions for the show. And hopefully, like I said, those of you in the live chat tonight, if you have any questions, just at myself or Kingsleymac so we can see you in the chat, and we'll be sure to pin those questions and answer them for you if we can. We'll go over the results and comments of our Guardian Downcast question of the week. Every week I ask a random question every Monday, and we share the results live on our show. So if you want to participate in our next question of the week, look for that channel in our Guardian Downcast section of channels in our Discord community. And like I said, we might even share some of the comments as well. It's an exciting time to be a Destiny Guardian. So if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels ToddtheGatr and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out.
Okay, before we get on to dissecting the new Bungie reveal that just happened this last reset, I want to go to Kingsley and just go over what we've been doing this week. We do it every week and just catch up and just see what's been going on in our lives, shows, movies, anything. Kingsley, what about you? What have you been doing this week, man?
Yeah, I think I did 2 raids this last week. I know I don't always mention every week. I think I forgot to mention the one last week, but we had a Saturday night one. I'll let you talk about that.
Sure.
And then did one last night. I didn't join it until last second because I wasn't sure if I was available. It was a second. There was 2 going on Wednesday night. This was the second one that was made, but it was earlier. It was 9 Eastern, so 7 my time, and I kind of joined it last second. And it was a good chill time. Decided to do Garden, and there was only one person that was a little bit newer, and then we kind of explained some more details of it. Zombie kind of helped Sherpa that. He's like, I don't want to, but no, just kidding. But no, it's always a fun time playing with people in raids. It's one of the things that, I can get bored a little bit if it's just the same team and we're doing the same raid the same way. I mean, several raids, I have over 100 clears in these days. Yeah. So I prefer almost to have, raids. If you mix up the teams, they're as variable as PvP. You're playing against your teammates in a way because you don't know how they're going to mess up or what they're going to do to make it fun or interesting. Or sometimes we'll purposely do things like, we've had drunk raids in the past, or we will, they only use certain weapons or things like that. It's always fun playing with you, Todd. Maybe something fun will happen there too.
Thank you. I quite enjoy our raid team every week as well. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I look forward to it.
Yeah. And then other games, I've basically finished my full playthrough of Assassin's Creed Shadows until more content comes out. Because I've done all the extra things in the game that I want to. There was actually a small drop this week, but it added like one small mission and some quality of life things. And so I already got through that. But I was kind of talking with Sin last night. We were looking through a bunch of games. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? Mm-hmm. I have a couple ideas, but I hadn't looked at Game Pass for a while. And Game Pass actually has one game that I was considering. I didn't know the Final Fantasy-esque French game, Claire Expedition 33, Claire Obscura, is on Game Pass for PC.
Nice.
I'm like, yes. So I downloaded it earlier today. Just did a little bit of intro so far. I'm like, I think I'll like the game. At least as far as the music goes and the visuals and the story, pretty tight, pretty solid there. I might get annoyed with the turn-by-turn
I see.
Eventually. Who knows?
Like I like that part. I don't know.
Yeah. Give it a try if you want. Get PC Game Pass. I mean, PC Game Pass, if you don't do the full Xbox one too, I think it's only still like $7 to $10 a month or $15 at most. I don't know what it is, but the money. It's not very expensive.
It's not the money, Kingsley. It's just I'm not their user. I'm not one who plays like a bunch of games and likes to try a bunch of games. I got my games that I like to play, and I can
play a lot of games too.
Yeah,
but if there's a game on there, it's cheaper than buying it.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And,
but like I said, turn-based wise, I'm looking forward to playing Baldur's Gate 3. I think I'm going to be starting that next week because I think, we got the reveal out of the way now. I think I'm
play that with you too, if you're serious. I mean, after you get through the intros.
Yeah. I figured what I'd do is set up my character, get that all set up and do the intro, the tutorial stuff. And then, maybe you do the same and then we'll just get in there and start playing. I don't have no idea what to expect in this game. I haven't played.
I don't actually either. Yeah.
All I know is it was very good. It's what everybody keeps telling me. Yeah, Balatro is free on PlayStation Plus this month. That is right, JD Kent. That is if you have not played Balatro, and I haven't played it in a while, probably because I've work's been kicking my ass. But I mean, that is a great game, and you can pick it up and play it for just a few minutes, and then go on with your day. But yeah, you can't beat it. So what else you been up to, man?
I haven't really been into any new shows, but I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before, that I've been watching MASH. Did I mention that?
Yes. How far are you in now? This is awesome, man. I love hearing you doing this.
Just finished season 2, started season 3. The show's hilarious. I never thought I would like it.
Only 40 more seasons to go.
All right. It was always one of those shows, even my age, even our age, being a little bit older, that I feel like our parents watched when it first came out. And it was like, when it came on later at night, I was like, oh no, it's time to go to bed, because this isn't the show like the kids would watch. But it's actually a great show. It's hilarious. And let me tell you, like, I didn't realize how much I'd love the characters, like Alan Alda or whatever his name is, and the other main guy. And they're great actors. I mean, they just so many funny quips in there and stuff. But I also finally rewatched. I was like, I feel like watching a Star Wars movie. I did Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
And I'm trying. I need to watch all 3 again, because even growing up, I had an opinion. Like, I feel like I liked New Hope. I liked the first one a lot, and I like Return of the Jedi, except for all the Ewok stuff. But I liked it more the reason why I liked Return of the Jedi was because of, having another Death Star and all the crazy stuff that happens there. Empire Strikes Back is a lot of people's favorites. I know it was my mom's favorite and stuff. It's a good one, but I remember why I don't like it as much now, because there's like so many slower parts in it, which I know are very important for the story. But Luke having the whole thing with Yoda, learning about the Force more, and then the whole slow thing with Han and Leia and the ship getting stuck in the asteroid with, I mean, some people are like, why is that considered slow? But I don't know, just to me, Star Wars is best when you're having space battles, fights in a ship on a planet, or doing something like that. But I don't care about like a 30-minute scene of Luke getting caught in the cave with the white snow monster, or I know it wasn't 30 minutes, or like him doing his learning with Yoda and stuff. I want the actual Star Wars stuff to happen.
Yeah,
but what I love about Empire Strikes Back is it's when you first see a super Star Destroyer. You have the Star Destroyers, and then you have the super Star Destroyers.
Yes.
And I can just imagine when this movie first came out, everyone's like, what the hell is that? Like, you see all the Star Destroyers, and they're already big, right? They're called Star Destroyers. And they're all floating in space, and the music is like, dun, 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 dun. And then all of a sudden it pans up, and there's like another ship that's like 10 times the size of a Star Destroyer. And it's
the small Star Destroyer actually goes up into. It just blows you away.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like they did as good as they could for back then, and today's technology would show that way better, but it's still kind of impressive.
Man, so, I'm telling you, Kingsley,
been having fun watching that.
You need to watch Andor, man. It is so
maybe
good.
I will.
I'm telling you, it is right up your alley.
Is there tech ship stations, battles, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Has all that stuff.
Okay.
It's actually,
because
to me,
the story is good, but I like the technology and the battles and the ships, and that's why I really like the latest Star Wars games, because a lot of the games you're like running through like bases of the Empire, and you see like all the technology and the terminals and everything like that.
Oh, it's time wise, it's right. It's basically the origin of the rebellion, against the Empire. And it shows both. It's the tug of war between both sides, and how initially.
I don't really care about the story. I want the tech.
But no, don't worry. There's plenty of tech. I mean, you go into Coruscant and a lot of the cities, and you're like, wow. And you see the ships flying around, the luxury liner. Right. The luxury. Like people. The ships that rich people drive and have drivers and stuff. And I don't know. To me, the story's awesome because I love that part. But it has all the beautiful looks. That regular, the big difference is, and I have no shade against the old Star Wars movies, but let's face it, man, the scripts are pretty simple in those movies. The scripts were very straight laced and they weren't really dynamic at all. But when you get into Andor, it's just like the scripts they're written really well. I don't
mind a good story.
Yeah.
But if it's like 90% good story and 10% like showing cool battles and tech, I'm not going to like it as much as something else. So
it'll scratch that itch. Don't worry. There's action scenes. Right. There's a lot of dialogue too, but I don't know.
To tell you the truth, I didn't like the ships in the prequels. Like when you talk about the luxury liners and the old Republic stuff, for some reason, the Empire stuff always looks the coolest to me. The bad guy Empire tech is what is impressive, but Rebellion stuff, like the Rebels, their tech, I mean, I guess that was kind of the point. They're like a scrappy group in the movies and stuff, but way back, if you go to the prequels, like the Queen's ships and things like that, yeah, they looked cool, like these big chrome looking ships, but like they were almost too simplistic. They didn't have like all the fun corridors and hallways and I want to have a TV show that's just focused in a Death Star or Super Star Destroyer the whole time. And you learn about the different levels and rooms and it's like it's just the politics of running a Death Star or something like that. That's what I want, is a show like that.
I challenge you to watch Andor, because I think once you watch that first season, you'll be like, oh, this is awesome. And I mean, I just watched the third set. There's 12 episodes for the season 2. I just watched the 3 episodes they released. This was the 9th, the 7th, 8th, and 9th episodes. And they are so good, Kingsley. I watch them twice every week. They're that good, because you miss little quirks and little things. Sometimes the dialogue, you look away and look at something and you come back and you're like, oh, I missed that. What were they saying about? There's a lot of cryptic stuff in the script where, where it just gives you, it's so weird, man, because, we keep hearing about the rebellion. We really don't know where they came from. And this is this show, it completely just rolls up the curtain and shows you how this fledgling little group of people that, what you really like about it is how they communicated where the Empire couldn't pick them up, because the Empire has like spying stations. Really cool. Yeah. I'm telling you, you'll really like the just the behind the scenes stuff. But I'm obviously biased because I'm a super Star Wars fan, but
funny enough, I would love a series too, where almost like the whole series, and Todd was almost kind of talking about this in the chat too, but like I would almost prefer a series where at least a full season or the whole thing is really more about the Empire and how they're winning for a while. Like there's no hope with, like I want to almost be on the side of the bad guys and see like how that all works and see them win,
Speaking of Empire, you actually see how they run a prison and how they use people who are captured for no damn reason that are used for slave labor. And it shows you how, I tell you the thing you'd be impressed with the Empire that Andor shows you is how meticulous their systems are. They have systems and they have backup systems and they have backups to the backup system. I mean, you wonder how the rebellion ever even had a chance, because you're talking about super,
it kind of doesn't make sense.
Super organized.
Because they have, they had some Jedis and Force.
And they always have all the, I mean, you take the Jedi, you don't even hear anything about Jedis in this show. There's no Jedis in the show. And that comes later. That comes later. But what you mentioned tech, you will see how good their technology is and how the rebellion is still in the Stone Ages comparatively. I'm telling you, I think Stacy might like it too. I don't know. I think you both will like it if you watch it together, but my wife's not.
I will bump that up to at least
watch the first episode.
As close as I can get.
Watch the first episode and let me know next week or whatever.
No worries.
You won't be here next week, but the following week, let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's right. I won't be on the next show.
So we'll talk about that at the end.
That's it for me, though.
Yeah, Kingsley's no longer going to be a host. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It was a great run.
Because I haven't watched Andor.
Yeah, it's a great run, but, he's not a Star Wars fan, so he's out. That's the way it is. All right, I'm just kidding.
Well, I kind of am, or I was more when I was younger.
I mean, let's put it this way. When I pre-lit Ines, I did spend the $100 and pre-order the Edge of Fate pack, and immediately got, they released a ship, another Ghost, which is one of the Empire probes, and then of course the little short I don't know what they call them, the little short like Cloud City. They use these little short little scooter things to get around, and I think probably use it in some other areas too. Star Wars fans are out there going, Jesus, Todd, you know what that's called? Come on, man. I know you can pull my Star Wars card. That's fine. Of course, we did last week, Saturday. We actually celebrated my new affiliate status on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who stopped by to get my viewer concurrent counts up, because I finally broke that barrier and fully filled out everything they needed me to fill out. Signing your life away that they can take everything if you say something wrong, all that fun stuff. And we celebrated. We ran a Deepstone Crypt raid and had a great time. Allocate, Ronin Redline, Zombie Pops. Squirtle was the one you mentioned that hadn't run many raids with us, but he was back again. And of course, my co-host Kingsleymac was with us. And we just, we ran through it so quick. We were like, hey, let's just go ahead and run another raid. Why not? We're celebrating tonight, and it was only like an hour and 15. So I was like, let's keep going, man. Cause I was going to go play some Iron Banner, but people don't want to watch that. They want to watch us raid. So, we went and did a Garden of Salvation raid, and Squirtle had already run it with us once. So he already knew what he was doing kind of, and we ran right through that pretty quick too. In fact, I think we didn't have to kill ourselves and reboot in the last encounter like we normally do. I think we're starting to get it down. Mm-hmm. Did you see that GTA 6 was delayed another year? I think they said
another year. I didn't see that. So
May of 2026. I don't know the exact date. I'm sure Chad will tell us because it's been published. They actually put out a new trailer where they actually put the new release date at the end of the trailer. Trailer's about 2.5 minutes long. It was really good. So many references to Florida in there. I'm like, yep, that's Florida. I can't deny it. They definitely did their research. But so I'm thinking, I think I can hear the collective sigh of all the other developers out there that are releasing games this year. Just let out a gasp of relief that they didn't have to worry about GTA 6 this year. But yeah, it's been delayed a year, so it won't be here until 2026 in the summer. I did see. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about. I did see the closed alpha.
That's absurd.
Yeah, I know. They said they wanted to make sure the game's right.
Absurd is the release date for originally 20. Oh wait. Next year is 2026. Okay, so what do you mean another year? Because
they said it was going to be out in 2025 sometime, and everyone was speculating maybe the fall.
So May isn't a year.
Well, it's almost. They pushed it into. I think someone's got that date out there in chat. Let us know what that release date is, so we can tell.
For some reason, I was thinking it was still 2024. I'm stupid. Okay, so it is still May. It didn't get pushed again. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, instead of 2025,
it's 6 months-ish from the original time. I wouldn't say a year necessarily.
Yeah, okay. So let's just say 8 months. We'll agree to 8 months further forward. They had to put it. So, yeah, it was. I'm not surprised. And honestly, I mean, I'm going to play the game, but I'm not as crazy in love with it as a lot of people out there are. I mean, being Florida, I'm going to play it, man. But I'll probably get a chuckle out of alligator wrestling and all that good stuff in it. But wasn't really surprised, but I tell you what I was surprised about this week. I saw the closed alpha gameplay of the new extraction shooter Arc Raiders, and man, that game looks like it's ready for release. It looked really good. I hate to say it, man, but I was more excited to play that game than what I saw on the alpha marathon. And I tell you what, and people have been saying this out there, and I think marathon needs to cook a little longer. It just didn't look finished to me. I really want to play Marathon, but other than that ending cinematic, it was beautiful on the reveal, when they revealed it to us. I didn't get excited. And that's tough for me to say because I love Bungie games. I'm a longtime Destiny player, and it's hard for me to say I don't want to play their extraction game, but Arc Raiders look fun, man. Everything was very detailed. The system seemed to flow a little better. The worlds were enormous. I mean, enormous. They had like 4 different maps. They were all very large. And it looked really good to me, man. And I think someone said that they were hoping it was going to be a PvE game, but it is certainly a PvP extraction shooter game. So no details on when that's coming out. So yeah.
So, yeah, well, I have comments since you brought it up now.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think Marathon needs to be delayed at all. In fact, not all alphas are the same. In fact, what Arc Raiders released shouldn't have been an alpha. That should have been more like a beta. It is pretty cooked in the game.
It looks very beautiful.
A lot of alphas look more like the Marathon style. So don't think Marathon needs to be pushed back just because of that. Also, it's already been pushed back so much, years and years delayed. And I think they know it'll be fairly ready at this date, or else they probably wouldn't have announced it. So that's what I say there. And then also Arc Raiders is a different game, even though it's also an extraction shooter. Yeah. Marathon will never be like Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders, it used to be a PvE game, and they changed directions. And when I was watching some stuff on it, it's still more focused on the PvE AI elements in it.
Yes.
And people are realizing that when you come across another team, you don't actually want to kill them most of the time in Arc Raiders. You want to work with them unofficially to take down the PvE stuff.
Those things are brutal too, man.
And so that's a whole different style of a game than Marathon. So some of these things that you would hope that Marathon would add, they're never going to add. So a delay won't help that. It's just going to be a different game with Marathon.
I guess it's just
So I don't think it should be pushed back.
Okay.
But
I think I don't know.
I still just don't think Marathon will be a game you should expect to like.
Maybe they just need to pull the Band-Aid off and just release it and let it go and see what happens. And I have a strange feeling it's not going to do well. I just have a bad feeling about it. But there was like,
do well.
They extended the beta or the alpha and there were like 690 players and they're playing it still. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
So,
well, they didn't invite that many people in the first place.
Well, I mean, they had when they originally put it out, I mean, they had thousands and thousands of people, but if you look at the numbers just kept going down and down. And I don't know about you, but when Destiny I never was invited to the alpha in Destiny, but the beta, I played it nonstop every day before work. So, their numbers were like steady.
Just you. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I know there's a lot of people like me who's like, what is this game? And once you got to the witch and then it ended and said, we'll see you in whenever, that's the end of the beta. I would go, let's do it again. I want to do a hunter this time, and I played it so many times, but anyway, it just didn't have that. I don't know. It just didn't feel the same as the Destiny, betas.
Destiny numbers have gone down 90% too. Are you worried that this next expansion won't do well, to be fair?
We're going to get into
fair
that.
Is fair.
I think I think Destiny is going to do just fine. If anything, this new,
why won't Marathon do fine?
Because Marathon is not Destiny as much as we want it to be. And
but don't think of your opinion. Think of the general world. Like, do you think it'll do well enough?
I know I've heard streamers that don't stream Destiny, but they do extraction shooter games like Tarkov, who said they did like the theme of it. But I think the fact, and I talked about this last week, but the fact that Marathon is trying to make it a generalized, more appealing to more general audience, I think they're trying to appeal to too many people and are not going to appeal to anybody. That's my worry. And
we will have to have some as it gets closer, because everyone's going to have different opinions on their definition. Now, there's two things about it doing well, and we don't have to have a long discussion right now. There's initial sales, and then there's also how quickly people drop off from playing it. Those are two separate points.
Absolutely.
Now, no one will know what's considered good to Bungie. Like they may not sell what looks like a lot to the world in general, but it could be good amount of money that'll be at least good enough. But I wonder if we as a community, so we can even try to have the conversation, because if we can't come up with some idea that everyone agrees with, then there's no point talking about it. But how much would they have to sell or not sell to, quote, do good? You know what I mean? With the initial sales. But
I'll just have to see. I mean, it's still a ways away. They still have work to do on it, but they have the Bungie studios working on it. So it can't be cheap. They've got to invest a lot of money in this game. And I don't know what they're going to take to break even on this game. But anyway, enough Marathon talk. We've beaten that horse well to death over the last few weeks, thanks to me.
I did brought it up, so
I know. I did want to mention Dr. Lupo. He was in a chess tournament, the PogChamps chess tournament. It's for $100,000, and I actually saw the video where he made this blunder. He made a stupid move where it could have been over really quick, but all of a sudden he made like over 20 chess moves in like the perfect order, and the chat was starting to get a little questionable. Like, what's going on here? Are you using something? Long story short, he was kicked out of the tournament. He made an apology video the next day addressing it, admitting that, yes, I was using an engine. I did cheat. And, I panicked, but what do you think of all this, man? I love Dr. Lupo.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I never had much of an impression of Dr. Lupo or not. I'm not saying I liked him or didn't like him, but that's the thing. I never really look up to any streamers because I think that's just silly. But, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but yeah, what I want to talk about is more like a bigger picture. I mean, it's related to him, but also it's crazy how this can happen, because first we can see that it can happen to anyone. I was actually watching an Astrocross video of him giving a reaction to another guy who's who plays in chess tournaments, who knows a lot about that. he's some streamer, I forget his name, that was actually giving reaction to the Dr. Lupo situation and his apology and everything like that. And it's so interesting because, yeah, some of these people you think like, wow, you know, they've been in Destiny for this long and they seem like a good person. And here's the first interesting point. When Dr. Lupo was talking about stuff leading up to it before he admitted it, and even when he was admitting it, he kind of was one of the people that, you know, you hear this saying sometimes like those that doth protest too much, or people that have like something that's really important to them, or sometimes the people that, I'll just give you a silly example. Someone always talks about like cheating is bad. They may be someone who actually cheats or something. It's not always like that, but sometimes it is. And the point I'm making is Dr. Lupo was always kind of more like, yeah, cheating's bad, this and that and stuff. But then he got caught up on it anyways. I mean, here's what he said. And I think the other guy, I wish I remember his name. You can watch the Astrocross video that was reaction to this other guy that was in reaction to the Dr. Lupo thing. And basically what Dr. Lupo admitted was he just has Ludwig. Okay, Ludwig. That's what Tajo says in the chat. He kind of got caught up with ego stuff. Now, this I think is a stronger term than what some people may think, but like a fragile ego, like kind of like it doesn't mean you're like. That sounds harsher to me than what it can mean, but he just didn't want to look like a failure. Like, you know what I mean? Like he felt like he needed to cheat. Yeah, he wanted to save face. And it can go to people all the time, no matter if you're a streamer or not. That's why people will do these things. It's not just necessarily for notoriety or to win. It's not even necessarily always a competition thing, but it's the reverse where it may sound the same to some people, but it's almost the reverse where you don't feel like you have to be top dog, but you feel really bad if you lose. And that's what his issue was, having a more fragile ego. And he admitted to that, which the point I kind of want to make tonight is, yeah, he needs to have whatever consequences come his way, lose a lot of viewers or whatever. But at least he admitted. Now, he didn't admit till he got caught, so it could have been better. But pretty much anyone who cheats is never going to admit till they get caught, right? It's very, very rare to admit before you get caught. But at least when he did get caught, he was real about it.
He was.
He said the reasons why. He said, I'm telling you the truth, guys, like, it was because I kind of had a fragile ego about this, and I didn't want to look bad. I didn't want to look like I lost. Like, he got caught up in it. He just, in the fame of just winning something or trying to win something. And kind of saying that really, I think, can bring up some interesting learning points to everyone as you watch streamers. If you think about your own life, like, we should be in a place where we don't have to worry about our ego around others, right? I know sometimes people are super competitive or worry what other people think about them. They will have egos where it's really hard to lose. I mean, no one likes losing a game, right? But this is easy for me to say because I don't need to ever feel super competitive in my life, and I don't have a fragile ego like that at all. And sure, it's not necessarily fun to lose a game or whatever, but it doesn't bother me. And I hope people can learn from that, for people that do have those type of egos, that, look, life is fine without having to win things, without having to worry about what people think of you. Yes, you should try to strive to win if you're doing a competitive thing, but at the same time, like, dude, life's too short. Don't make that your main goal, is like just having an ego of like winning stuff. And if people can learn that, if people can learn to ideally never cheat, but if you do or get caught on something, be as real as you can. Don't try to make excuses. Then at least you're being better than, oh, no. Like, remember that other Destiny guy that they got caught for cheating? He never admitted.
Bunch of them did.
Well, there was the one main guy, was it Ikugan or something? I forget. But
there's a lot that
Bungie
exposed.
Gave all the receipts, and he still never admitted. He still was drawing the line, but it was clear that he cheated. At least Dr. Lupo admitted. But I don't know. I just like the meta points about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say. But
I've got comments.
We don't need it.
I was just letting you get yours. I was just letting you get your comment out because I didn't want to interrupt you. It's funny. Today, my wife, she's doing testing for elementary and K-8 schools. and she's going crazy. It's the toughest time of year for her, but they found 3 girls that had cameras or their phone in their sleeve and had an AI app. They took a picture of the question with the multiple choice and it gave them the right answer. They got caught only because someone in the class saw them do it. And I told my wife, I said, well, what's to say that all the other kids were, at least a percentage of them were using the same app to do it. And it just kind of taints. She's like, it just kind of taints the school's score because we don't know who didn't get caught. And here's my take on Dr. Lupo. I really respected this guy. He started playing Destiny Crucible and the guy was ice cold when he did his call outs. He was just amazing. He was an amazing Destiny Crucible player. But the problem is the water's tainted now. And now everyone's going to look back and say, well, yeah, you were the one that was very anti-cheat and, Tarkov and all these other games you streamed. You were like the poster boy for, I don't want to cheat. But now it questions everything. Yeah. And I think the reason he did it, and I actually remember hearing this from Admiral Nips and Fluffy Fingers MD. They had Marky Mark on this past week. It's a good episode. They had a lot of good conversation in it. And Admiral Nips nailed it. Streamers today, especially if people watch them because they're good at what they do, as they get older, as they start accumulating in a community, as they start, feeling the pressure of staying on top and being like one of the best players, just being relevant. There's so much pressure on just being relevant that people are human. They're going to take shortcuts if they think they can get away with it. It's too bad because now anything that Lupo does, I kind of have that little thought in my mind. Well, what if he's using what if he's using a scuff with the auto aim or, one of the little things you plug in the consoles or the computers that you can program to, I see this all the time in Crucible. I'm like, man, that guy hit me with 2 shots with his hand cannon perfectly. Like every time I came against him. And I'm like, what are the odds of him perfectly hitting me and 2-tapping me with full health and full shields? So you always question it because there's a lot of people out there that do it. And it's so hard to detect, Kingsley. It's so hard to detect when people just tweak it a little bit or when they flip the switch, when they're down in score because they don't want to lose. And there's that ego that comes in. You just always have that thought in the back of your head. Like, was he really a good shot or what did he turn on his auto aim? What is it? I can't remember what they call that thing, but anyway, that's unfortunately, I've lost a little, I don't know, man. I've lost a little respect for Dr. Lupo, and I understand as you get to be a big streamer, and that's never my aspiration, by the way. I just like to talk and share my opinions. And if our community grows and keeps growing and we become a big podcast and I'm always going to be me. That's all I can be. I'll never have to feel like I need to, if I'm streaming Crucible or something, I never feel I'm going to have to cheat because if I get my ass kicked, I get my ass kicked. And I see it all the time with, True Vanguard and all these other guys. You always see the highlights in their videos in the background B-roll, but you never see those games where they just get killed from just really good players or players that are using cheats or whatever it may be. And, it's just unfortunate. Yeah. You Keegan. Exactly. NYC Romancer. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. He was definitely the one. There's a lot of Destiny streamers that just their ego got in the way and they got caught. And
yeah, what's interesting is again, kind of back to what I was saying, like, if you, Zimming. I just don't really ever respect is a funny word too, but like, you don't need to be disappointed if you never had respect in the first place. I'm not saying you shouldn't like have fun and kind of like look up to people a little bit, but it's kind of my point where like, well, if I never really had respect in these people in the first place, it doesn't mean I didn't like them, but like, I just take a more of a neutral approach and because I kind of know what people can do. Yeah. And yeah, if you look up to someone too much or have respect for them, then when something happens, then that's sad, Yep. But I think there's more than a 50% chance he would never cheat again because of how he apologized.
I understand.
He was very real with everything. Doesn't mean he would never cheat again. Yeah. But even though I don't think he would cheat again and all that, and even though I never had a respect to lose in the first place from him, I still think it's worth he loses followers. I think there needs to be consequences. I don't mean like we need to find some law to punish him. I'm just saying like there will be natural consequences anyways, right? Like, like you said, you don't respect him as much, less people will watch him, whatever. He probably won't get invited to tournaments.
He's got that cloud. He's got that cloud over his head. It's too bad.
And, as a streamer, as you get older, I mean, I think streaming's kind of a silly thing to get into anyways, because it's like anything. It's like anyone who's an actor does crazy stuff or like a streamer, you only have a period of life where you can do it before you get older, right?
That's what JD Kent was just saying.
And so you got to save the money up, and then you got to have an exit plan, and you got to realize as you get older, change what you do, find some more unique thing where even like people like Astrocross will have to do this eventually, where you're not streaming some twitchy PvP thing anymore. And instead you're streaming long reaction videos for new games. And he's kind of doing that anyways, but like you got to change what you're doing and something that'll fit your style and age and everything. Like us, we're just older guys doing this podcast, right? Yeah, it's easy for us. We're not trying to stream twitchy PvP stuff, but if that doesn't work for when people change, then just get out of streaming, but don't try to compete with people that you can't by cheating. That is not the tact, no matter what.
Yeah, JD Kinko's that goes.
One last thing too.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be harder to detect these things in shooting games, although hopefully that's getting better with some of the AI stuff. But in chess, what I found was interesting, it was easy. People knew, like the experts saw, like you said, what happened was he did a move that normally people would never do, where he let one of his, he could have taken their queen, but he didn't take the queen because the engine generator said, if you don't take the queen now, but do some other things, you're going to win the whole game in like 5 more moves.
Right.
And he did that instead. And everyone, even like chess experts, like no one would do that without an engine generator. Like everyone would have taken the queen right then. And so it is actually pretty easy in chess games to figure out if someone's cheating. And that's how he got caught too. He should have done the research.
Yeah.
Only cheat on things you might get away with. Don't cheat on things.
Yeah. Tajo said it was the Grandmasters. It was the move 27 through 31 was what was the most suspect. Yeah. Like I said, there's going to be that cloud that follows him around now. And what usually happens to these streamers is they lose their audience. They lose their community. Yeah. It just implodes. And I've been part of those communities where not because of cheating, but because of polarizing ideas, and the community just turns against itself, and then no one wants to be around anymore because it's so negative. That's why I always push for everyone to just be so positive in the community, but there's no guarantees, man. There's no guarantees, but, Necromancer, I've been wanting to call you that for so long, but I see the NYC in it and I'm like, I better say NYC Romancer, but Necromancer. I got it, man. I got your name now. Yeah. He's one of our admins in our GDC3 clan now. He's been, helping out in the GDC3 clan. Thank you, Necromancer. JD Kent, back in the day, I could drop 100 kills in Call of Duty. I haven't played games like that in years. I never did those kind of numbers. We get a team of us would spawn camp and we could pull 50 and 60 kills in a game, but I was always a mid-level player. But when Destiny Crucible came, I spent so much time watching streamers that were better than me do it. And I learned what they did. I learned their mannerisms. And I actually after time, I went from a mid-level player to a little better than average player. So, but you can talk to the people in the community I play Iron Banner with. I get my butt kicked every now and then, and there's nothing you can do. There's no hiding it. And I was sure as hell not going to put some kind of cheat shit in there. So yeah, I just I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I would not my head would never hit the pillow if I knew I had to cheat to impress someone. It's never worth it. Yeah. And we're just more mature, of course. We've lived a lot of life, but there's younger kids out there, younger adults out there who want to take that shortcut. And I'm just saying, man, it'll haunt you. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth that small little bit of whatever. So anyway, moving on. One thing I did want to talk about before we move on to our main topic of the night. I did see a movie at the movie theater in the Dolby Theater this week using my AMC Stubs A-list membership. We saw Thunderbolts. Rotten Tomatoes did give this a certified fresh 88% from critics, and the audience agreed with a 94% rating. But I got to be honest here. I have not been a fan of Marvel movies in this past year. Deadpool and Wolverine was the last one that I really enjoyed, mainly because it made fun of itself. It was refreshing to see something like that. Also why it grossed over $1 billion worldwide. But I was hoping that Marvel Studios paid attention when it came to that movie. And I was hoping they applied it to Thunderbolts. I had pretty high expectations for this one, but the story really crawled along in the opening. And I was kind of worried halfway through that the studio lost its way again. But the second half of the movie did get better, and it kind of brought everything into focus, and it brought me back in. The comedy lines were pretty good. There were a few groaners out there, where they do those puns and those, even if they're self-deprecating puns in the Marvel movies, and you're like, oh, why did they say that? That's just stupid. It's just really cringe. But, will it be as good as Superman coming this summer? And I've heard rumors about Superman. I'm not going to cloud my judgment on that, but the previews look fantastic. I don't know. But if you're on the fence and you don't really care about the experience of being in the Dolby Theater and, the rumble seats and all that like I did, just wait a few months. It'll come out on Disney Plus. I give this one 3.5 stars. It was a good movie, not a great movie. By the way, there are 2 post-credit scenes, cutscenes that you want to wait for. So, if you're watching it on stream or you're watching it at the theater, make sure you stick around. There's 2 cutscenes post-credit. So don't make the mistake of watching some of the people in the theater just walk right out. I wanted to flag them down and say, oh, you're going to miss this part. And yeah, there's 2 scenes.
Some people don't care.
Some people don't care. You're right. Speaking of Disney Plus, I did talk about Andor, and I won't go into it any further, but I will say this week's episodes, there's a big finish next week, but the 3 episodes that centered around this topic was about a planet that gets destroyed or potentially gets destroyed. It got real, y'all. The shit got real. This was a very serious thing in the overall Star Wars picture, and it really makes you understand why the rebels really hate the Empire so much. And you'll understand why once you get into the story, but man, I cannot recommend Andor enough. It is so damn good. And it's going to suck when next Tuesday, it comes out on Tuesdays at 9:00, Eastern, as when they release the 3 episodes. I'm going to be bummed when those 3 episodes are done next week, but I'm really curious to see how supposedly it's supposed to lead right up into Rogue One. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. One last thing I just found out about today. I told you last week about the making of the John Wick franchise, the documentary called Wick is Pain. It is out on May 9th. I did find out it is available for pre-order on Prime Video and Apple TV and YouTube. It's $9.99 if you're interested in watching it. So, just letting you know, it is available out there, and tomorrow, Friday.
Why? You're going to pay for it instead of wait for it to be included in a subscription?
We'll see. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm thinking about it, but I'm going to wait and see what people review it. I want to see how people review it first. So, yeah, it's exactly at Red Solo Cup. It's a mini movie. It's like watching a Star Wars movie every week. It's really good, man. I can't say it enough. I tell you what, though, summer is loaded with good movies. The end of this month, the 23rd, we got Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. June 20th, 28 years later, F1 with Brad Pitt comes in June 27th. Friendship, I told you about that. Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd is going to be out sometime in June. Superman, July 11th.
No. Friendship comes out tonight. I'm going to watch it on Saturday.
Yep. We just looked at the theaters. We didn't see it. I hope it's at their local theaters. I'm really
you keep getting dates wrong unless they're different in Florida.
I hope it's not going to, I'm going to be bummed if it doesn't come to our theater. We just looked for movies for next week and it didn't show it. I'll look again.
Hold on. I could be wrong, but the thing that I check is always talking about movies.
Yeah. That's an independent movie.
I was planning on seeing it.
But it's going to be really good.
What's that?
It's an independent movie, but it's going to be really good. It's got really good.
Well, it's an A24 movie.
Yes.
I just learned about it today, and I am so freaking excited. I'm probably going to see it on Saturday. Here, let me see.
Can you verify it for me?
Yeah, I'm checking now because this is important.
I'll go see it this weekend. It's Mother's Day, by the way, all you guys out there. Mother's Day Sunday, don't forget.
Okay. So limited release tonight. Let me see if it's my theaters.
It's not in our.
Technically, the wide release is the 23rd.
Yeah,
so
23rd.
We're both right.
Okay,
we're both right. But I'm going to see if I can
week
get
as
limited
Mission
release.
Impossible. Yep.
Yeah.
Same week as Mission Impossible. So we'll have to figure out how to see both. By the way, AMC Stubs A-List now, 4 movies a week, same price. 4 movies a week. Just letting you know, they just upgraded that. They just told us about it in the app. So 4 movies.
Watch 4 movies a week.
It doesn't matter. At least you have that. At least you have that option. What's up, Cam? Anyway, just want to let you know, Fantastic Four, July 25th. Life of Chuck comes sometime in May. Steven Spielberg and Stephen King are behind this movie. I don't know anything about it, but being it's from those two guys, I'm definitely going to get into it. Okay, that's enough. Let's all for me. Let's get into this great reveal that Bungie put out this week. Or great question mark? We'll find out right after this.
Hey, this is Heyoka, and when I'm not squishing Thrall, I'm listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right, for our main topic really of the week, it's all about this reveal that we just saw live from Bungie Studios in Washington about the new Edge of Fate and Beyond coming. And that is going to be July 15th, folks. July 15th is the date. We finally got the date. So now I had everybody on hold for June and July because I really didn't know when the release date was going to be. So now
Told you it was going to be that date.
Yep. Well, you knew it. I just didn't know for sure. But was that the date that was on the season pass countdown?
Yes, that's why.
I'll be damned. Actually, I didn't know to trust that or not, but I guess we can. All right, good deal. Good deal. Well, they start off, of course, with what's really nice about this reveal is they put the cutscenes, they sprinkled them out throughout. When they talked about something, then they would put in a cutscene. It was really cool how they did that. But that first cutscene, can anybody explain to me what's going on here? Because maybe I'm not caught up on the lore or not. But we had one of the members of the Nine who was floating along, and she says, I don't want to be a part of this. And then all of a sudden, another being rips out of her chest and leaves her body like a bag of bones behind her. Does anybody know why that happened?
Well, I don't know why that happened, but we already know in the lore that all the Nine are separate individuals. And the lady on the stream explained that too. They're not a collective mind.
Oh.
They all have their own opinions.
Okay.
Supposedly, in the group of 9, there are 5 that are more on our side and 4 that are against us.
Okay.
And so the emissary or whatever might be the one that's on our side. I couldn't tell you if that part of the lore is correct, but supposedly what I'm gathering from that is there's shit going down where maybe other 9 are saying, we need to do something to stop the Guardians or mess with them or whatever. And she's like, I don't agree with it. That's basically how I read it.
The Amazing Taco King says in chat, the emissary, she broke away from the 9 god controlling her from what I can tell. So we know the 9, there's 5 and 4, right? There's 5 that,
supposedly,
I guess are on our side, and there's 4 that are not. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I think that's what they said when I was listening to this, but they start out with that cutscene and we're like, what the hell is going on here? You know, we're like, geez, what the heck, man? And then of course they talk about the new planet we're going to visit. What planet is that, Kingsley?
Well, hold on real quick, because also, and Kilvin talks in the chat, did you notice that she looks like a Guardian when she broke away?
Yeah. She looked like she had all the Guardian armor. She looked like a Titan.
So what Kilvin said was, I think that the emissary that was once a Guardian, she quit being the emissary and took her previous form.
Okay. I see.
But the 9's forms are still something that, I mean, maybe she actually used to be a human Guardian in the past, but the 9 is more like this force. They're trying to make a form that's human, but they're not really technically human, of course, you know. So we'll learn more, I'm sure.
Yeah, Tajo says, I got the impression.
I just thought that was important.
No, I'm just reading chat too because I'm trying to understand this. Tajo says, I got the impression that the 9 are annoyed that we have forgotten about them. And keep in mind, the 9 are older than the Traveler. Older than the Traveler. They're way back in the back. I mean, we don't really know. We just don't know much about the 9. But it was so chilling when she finally broke out of her skin or whatever happened there. Those chilling words. My will is not my own. I'm like, damn, I'm excited. She looked awoken to Amazing Taco King. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But, of course they opened the whole stream with that little cutscene, and I thought that was really good. But, we'll be going to a new planet, right? Kingsley, let me pull up our notes here so we can make sure.
Yeah. Which, are you just having your own order of going through what we're talking about, or
no? Or
are we going through the
do you
order?
Want to go through our note? Do you want to go the way we have the notes on that link? You want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine either way, but I just need to know if I shouldn't bring things in a different order than you're talking about.
No, let's go in. I want to make sure we're on the same page here. Let's stick to our notes here. The first thing they do is they talk about the year of the prophecy roadmap, right? They talk about the Edge of Fate was going to be our first our first first DLC or first expansion.
Yep. There are two expansions per year now.
Yep.
Each expansion is considered medium-ish size, and together I believe it's a little bigger than Rise of Iron. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yep. So the Edge of Fate arrives July 15th. There's a new destination called Kepler, which is an old planet from what we understand. And now one of the Bungie employees was saying that we can see this planet on the outskirts of our map in Destiny. Is that right? Does anybody look for it? Anyway, she says there's a little planetoid on the edge of our map, and that's where Kepler is. JD Kent says the emissary or Orin used to be a guardian. In the old Drifter cutscenes, that's the lady he was talking to. I remember that in that season. I remember that happening. I remember that dialogue. So yeah, okay, it's all coming back to me now. But so we're going to a new planet, and it's inspired by a puzzle solving and pathfinding challenges of Destiny 2's dungeons and destination design, which encourages deep exploration, mystery, and player-driven discovery. There's new weapons. We saw that some enemies are new enemies. We saw that some enemies had like jetpacks on that were flying toward us. There were these little mini, I want to call them shanks, but they're like little shank balls. I don't know what to call them, but they were like,
it doesn't matter.
Hundreds of them pouring out, which I'm already getting nightmares over that one. But what else do we see there?
So with that stuff, I'm glad they showed us something with some new things, because I already read. I'm not going to talk about all the spoilers, but a lot of this stuff was like I already knew. But
right.
I kind of knew also that we're not getting new enemy types or races. We may get some boss here or there that they're going to keep a secret. So, but I'm glad they at least showed us that we're getting some subtypes. So you have the jetpack Fallen, and then you have the new Vex stuff. So,
right.
It'd be nice to get something more new, but at least there's a couple small subtypes that are new there.
It has a new feel. It has a new feel, at least. It doesn't feel like it's... it did to me.
Well, if you're going to bring up that topic, I don't agree.
Okay.
But it looks like just normal Destiny to me.
Okay, well...
But I feel like Final Shape had way more of a new feel than this does. But
right.
But that's just my opinion. Yeah, if other people feel like more like Todd, then yeah.
I don't any kind of new setting or in slightly different characters. It always makes it feel new to me anyway. But I've played so many patrols, I just know everything looks so the same. But the new home screen now is no longer going to be all the planets. It's going to be the portal screen.
And then also we didn't talk about the new abilities.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It's not dark. It's not a dark. I know. I purposely did. I don't understand
purposely?
this part.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it?
No, I want to talk about it. I'm just being facetious. It's dark matter. It's not a dark subclass, but it's a dark matter. One of the abilities is called Relocator Cannon, which uses fallen dark matter each to teleport players across the environment, and Mattermorph, which lets Guardians manipulate their surroundings using the combined forces of dark matter and the Strand. Help me understand this. I saw us turn into an electric ball and go down into tubes and pipes and stuff to get through certain areas. Mm-hmm. What did you think of all that?
Yeah. So, yeah, this is very clear. It's not darkness. It's dark matter. Those are two different things.
Not the third darkness
so
subclass.
This also clears up once and for all. We already knew we weren't getting a red subclass because Bungie said we're not getting that. And they don't have the time to make a whole new subclass right now anyways. But regardless, we're getting new abilities.
Yeah.
And based on dark matter, which gives us special powers, it's not the darkness. It's not some necessarily external bad guy force. It's dark matter, which is just crazy interdimensional stuff. And it's a combination, like when we talk about the arc ball thing, it's a combination of having offensive powers where when you have that ability, you can kill ads, do different things, but it's also a functional ability to help you do things in the game. So when you are this arc ball rolling around, you are a lot smaller and you can get through tight spaces and stuff. It's kind of funny. That part of it, that's like the least Destiny looking to me of any part. I'm like, what are we now, a Sonic game where we're just shooting around and going through rings and going in little tight spaces and stuff? It looks a little goofy to me, but I'm also excited to the exploration part where as we can get in these smaller spaces and do that. There one of the other powers is we can move pieces of land around, so it's kind of like a puzzle thing. And then, of course, that's the one part of it, but then you have the offensive part too, where you're actually killing enemies. Right. Now, something very clear on this, it's only in the new location, and that makes sense for a couple of reasons. Yep. Lore-wise, how you get these abilities is there's little things you pick up or interact with on the ground that gives you that ability. And it's only going to be in the new location for even a practical reason, because they probably don't have the time or ability to tune it to all our previous locations to make sure we're not going to break something.
Right.
So do be aware, people, that these abilities are only in the new location.
You know what it reminded me of? Remember when we went to Neptune and they had the strand, strings in the middle of the map during the campaign where you would interact with it, and it would give you I understand strand was a dark subclass, but at least you could use it temporarily and then it would run out and then you keep moving on. So I have a feeling it's going to have that same kind of feel where it's going to be there like a little crack or something to.
Well, they showed, it's like a little thing you interact with on the ground.
Right. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I can't remember her name that is behind all the story in Destiny. She said that there's a microorganism that we ingest or we pair with that actually allows us to see this dark energy, this dark matter. Sorry, got to be careful with how I say stuff. The dark matter. So it'll be visible to us that we normally don't see it. And she even mentioned, Allison, that we see it in the Destiny game all the time, but it's all around us, but we don't see it because of this microorganism, I guess, that we're going to somehow pair up with when we get to Kepler. Okay. So, something like that. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, anything new is good.
Space herpes.
It'll be sad to me that we can only use it in the new location. Because remember, the old stuff isn't going away. We're going to have, and we'll talk about this more, there's the portal, but the world map stuff is not going away. We can still pick all the old stuff with that way too. Mm. And I don't know. I mean, it's something new that they're trying. Do we really have to be smaller to explore things that are behind walls? I mean, there's other ways they can let us explore, but as long as this goofy ball that's running around isn't too hard to control or, makes it seem like too much of a different game than Destiny, I'm all for it. Just to at least check it out.
Yeah, Scarlet Maddie in the Discord said it does literally look like the Metroid Samus ball or egg. So
to me, I'm thinking like Sonic. The only thing they didn't show was, the ball's all moving all fast, rolling around, and the only thing they didn't show is us going through some rings. I mean, maybe they'll have that.
Exactly. I didn't see the rings flipping around as they went through them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. JD Kent says, it seems to me like a temporary ability to solve a problem or puzzle. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And we'll see this little hint in the game, and we'll realize that we have to solve some kind of puzzle to get through.
Yeah, of course we have offensive abilities with it too, with the enemies. So
don't even say that, JD Kent. You're getting my hopes up, man. He says we're using the Force. We're using the Force. It's all around us and binds us together. We'll see when it comes to the next thing we talk about down the line here, but I don't want to reveal it too early here. But yeah, the new home screen is called the Portal. This is where they said it is where you can jump in quickly to know exactly what you need to do or what you want to do. For the single player, just jump in. What do you want to play? It supposedly has all the activities around you and shows you exactly it just makes it easier for you to navigate and immediately jump into an activity or whatever you decide you want to do versus the planets where you have to face it. You have to scan around and say, okay, what's this glowing ball? What's this for? Or I guess it simplifies it for the newer player, right? But the planets are not going away. The planets are not going away. So
yeah, they're not. But I think this is good, of course.
Yes.
But when I see it, I get bored looking at it already. I'm like, I liked the planet screen way better than this screen.
Me too. Just because we've known.
I know it's probably because what we've known, but also to me, it's more visually pleasing going to a planet and then picking the thing. But I do have to admit, even us players that have been playing for a long time, we're like, where's that raid again? Or where's that dungeon again? Or this or that. So it does make sense to have this new portal system, mostly for the newer players.
Right.
But let me tell you, if we're in there most of the time, because that's the easiest way to start things, it's just a boring list with a bunch of squares to me. For the most part, I'm just nitpicking. Don't worry, people. I'm not like talking all this down, but it definitely looked a little boring to me compared to the system we already had.
Well, they said that the portal you'll be able to easily you'll be able to easily choose between Fire Team Ops, Pinnacle Ops, Crucible Ops, and the newly introduced Solo Ops, which I'm going to be using a lot of that because I play at weird times of the day, and there's not always people around to group up and get a team set up with. I kind of like planning that stuff anyway, to know that I can expect we're all going to sit down and do an activity for the night or whatever. It's nice to just be able to jump in and do solo stuff. And of course, they mentioned in the Solo Ops, I have to mention it because I lit up when I heard this. You'll be able to play strikes on any level solo. Thank God. I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to challenge myself in strikes, but when I'm forced to matchmake against other players, I'm sorry. I got nothing against other players. I want to challenge myself to get through it. And try to get through each champion and go through it. I don't want people just obliterating everything in front of me because they've run strikes for like 5 years straight and they know every enemy and where it appears. I want to go in there and enjoy it and challenge myself going in there solo. So, don't worry, Necromancer, we're getting to that. What do you think about, you kind of said the portal was, but one other thing they did say, I want to remind everyone is, you know how if you're a mainly Crucible player, and I'm thinking of Moonshine here, my buddy, Warcry, he says, he only plays Crucible. So he's always behind on the power grind. Well, with this new system, you'll be able to fully power grind just playing Crucible. So if you're a Crucible only player, and I know I'm not talking to many of you right now, but I play half and half. I play the new stuff and I play Crucible too. It's nice to know that I can actually rank up my power playing Crucible, where in the past it was much more difficult to do. So I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, well, that's a whole another topic now too. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll give you a response to that.
Okay.
But first on the Solo Ops stuff, it's they showed a placeholder, I'm guessing, image. I was a little concerned because in the Solo Ops area, they were mostly just showing things that looked like Lost Sector stuff to do. I'm like, wait a second, didn't they tell us that Solo Op would be a new activity? But I'm not worried because they kind of said it's going to be multiple things. What I'm guessing is Solo Ops will be, you can do Lost Sector stuff directly from the
replayable
portal.
Campaigns? I heard about that. Be able to replay some of the campaigns
I don't know
missions.
if I heard that. Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
And then the solo strikes. But then we still have this supposedly new Solo Op activity.
Right.
And this is the stuff that I wish they would have showed us more. I'll give more of like a full recap at the very end. I guess they don't want to show us that yet.
Right.
I don't know. But remember, we're having a new Solo Op activity where they said that will take us to maybe previous locations, but they'll have new hidden corridors. They will have random enemy spawns that change every single time. This was something we well, I don't know if I was on the podcast then, but we talked about last year, where it was what Solo Ops was going to be. And of course the Solo Strikes. And as long as all those options are still there, I'm sure they will, because there's no reason they would have told us this new activity. They made it sound like the new activity was called Solo Ops, but now it makes it seem like Solo Ops is Solo Strikes, Lost Sectors, and this new activity. So who knows what this new activity is going to be called? I want to know more on it, because I don't care about doing Lost Sectors again or Solo Strikes. I want to do something new.
I understand.
Especially if this new activity has variable changes to it.
50.
That's what'll keep me back.
50 new modifiers in addition to the ones we already have. That's going to be great.
Well, yeah, that's even a separate point where on all activities, not just solo stuff,
Right.
but on fire team stuff, let's say you want to do nightfalls or things like that, you have a lot of different variations you can do. And then that kind of does dovetail into the other next thing you're going to talk about, power system. I don't know if you want to talk about that later, but you started talking about it with the
I'm all over
Crucible
the
thing.
place tonight, so you just have to hang on for the ride, Kingsley.
You want me to do the list? No,
well,
it's okay.
Why don't you do the list and then I'll comment on it. I'm trying to keep it organized, but I'm trying to move along as well. I don't want to stay too long on one subject, but I realize there's a lot to cover here. They talked about a lot, but go ahead. You mention it and then I'll comment on it. How about that?
I do want to see, though, on the list if they, maybe they didn't talk about power stuff actually on this list, so maybe we will.
Well, they talk about it in the TWAB. It was one of the questions the community asked. We'll wait till the TWAB to talk about that because they do mention it in the TWAB. It was one of the questions the community had.
I have to give my questions and opinions on that too. If we'll talk about that later.
Oh, we will.
So on this list next, they talk about the tier system, the new tier system for both weapons and armor. Did we know it was for weapons before? We only thought it was for armor before, right?
Armor
so
3.0.
They kind of broke the news. It was for weapons also.
That's all we knew about was Armor 3.0. Yep.
Yeah. So both armor and weapons will have 5 new tiers that each tier offers better stats, split perks, and more bonus mechanics.
Right.
To earn the best gear with the highest tier, you will have to take on the most challenging activities. The better higher tiered equipment you acquire, the more challenging content you can handle. All right, so we don't know much more yet, and there's questions which we'll bring up with what people are wondering, how will this all play, especially with our current stuff. But we do at least know, real basically, higher tier means you get that from harder activities.
It was very vague.
What do you think that means to you, or what do you think about that? Are you happy, not happy?
I really hope it doesn't mean I have to run an expert group event. As long as they allow me to do it in solo ops, if there's a solo op that is more challenging, that will get me that higher level. In other words, if right now, we can get higher adept weapons and what is it? Not adept gear, but it's called it has the extra slot.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but
it's going to be changing anyways.
That becomes available to you, which is higher level gear. If you do like expert, what is it? Expert raids, expert level of anything out there. I hope that's not the case because right now we can do that anyway. That is not changing anything. Now, if they make something in solo ops that says, if you complete this artifice armor, thank you, amazing Taco King. Now, if they have something in solo ops that says, complete this lost sector on master without dying to get the next tier of gun or armor, then I'm all in, man. That hits
I can pretty much guarantee they'll have that. But,
I hope so.
But side point, it's still going to be, you really want to do that because it's,
yes,
without dying, because it's going to be easier for you to run something hard with a team than to run something hard solo.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. If they're going to lean into the solo op, which is, there's a lot of solo players out there, just mainly because they have a clan, they do stuff, but their clan is working when they're home. There's all different reasons why people do solo stuff.
Okay, no, I wasn't saying why they should or shouldn't. I think they will have it for the solo, but I'm saying, are you really going to be running solo flawless master?
I will work for it if I know that I'm going to get a tier 5 gun or a tier 5 armor piece.
Well, yes, it's going to be less work for you to do it in a team. We'll help you out versus solo. But.
Well, I understand that. And there'll be times when I want to run with a team, but there's times when I want to challenge myself. Like the new Ride of the Nine right now has the Explore mode where you can go in solo. I haven't played it yet. All I've done is I've turned in all my currency.
And that's not challenging. That's the easy mode. Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying though is I haven't played some of these dungeons in a long time, and it's nice to know that it sits there and guides you through and teaches you how to do it. That's a first great move for Bungie.
Yeah, that's totally different than what we're talking about here. But yeah.
But I'm saying if they have something in solo ops that is difficult, not like
sure
Explorer mode, but if they have something for solo players, then I'm all for it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you also said we already have the adept. This is different still because there's 5 levels. We don't have 5 levels right now.
No, but they're giving us an adept weapons and artifice armor for running expert in a lot of group activities right now. And if it's very similar to what they're saying here with the tier 5 stuff, then I'm not interested.
How could it be similar? There's five new levels.
I understand,
where there's only 2 levels right now.
But
yeah.
like you said, they had 11 energy slots on one of these tier 5 armor pieces. They had an extra slot. Well, that's what Artifice armor is. They offer you an extra
You are
slot.
all over the place. I'm talking about weapons right now.
Sorry. I can't tell. But
but
they're hand in hand though. They have tier 5 armor and they have tier 5 weapons, which they never told us about. But the weapons, of course, is what I'm going to be more interested in. But
so the tier has nothing to do with that 11 energy thing also. The tier thing is something totally different for the armor also. So I think you are a little confused on what this tier thing is. It's kind of like something we have right now, but on steroids, like with way more levels, because we only have 2 levels right now. And of course, we'll learn more. And they just said you have to do harder level stuff. I can pretty much guarantee 90% of surety. It doesn't matter if it's solo or matchmade or whatever. Harder level stuff. One thing we do know that they're adding in the game is they have so many different options now. You can make stuff harder by going into solo ops and then picking all these modifiers.
Yep.
And then, so what you'll have to do, Todd, is you'll have to go in, say, I'm going to do the Master Lost Sector, and you have to add like at least 10 modifiers.
Yep.
And there's no way you're going to get it done because only like the sweatiest of the sweaties would be able to do that. And then that's how you can get something tier 5.
And as you're by the way, as you're tweaking the modifiers to make it harder, they actually give you a grade, like a grade over here on the right side. I looked at that. They'll give you like an A if it's like, oh, that's a very tough one, or like a C if it's like an average run. You'll get average gear, stuff like that.
Yeah. So here's what I predict will happen, and tell me if you're worried about this. Let's really look at the big picture here.
Okay.
Are you going to be sad when you can't get tier 5 stuff because it's too hard to get it?
Solo?
Anywhere, solo, or because I think they'll have it for solo too.
Yeah.
But will you be sad? Will you be like jealous that people?
I will be, because when they said tier 5 at first, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking Destiny 1, whereas the more kills you got with that weapon, you would unlock another power grid, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping that's what tier 5 was going to be, but apparently as we're diving in more of this, it's not just kill based. It's probably going to be based on activities, which that'll make me sad, man. Cause I don't know. And we talk about the weapon stuff, and, I guess they're going away from weapon crafting. I guess they're going all the way away from it. It looks like a super enhanced weapon is what it looks like to me, but how we get to that tier 5, I don't know. They haven't told us, and they're gonna, they will.
They told us more challenging content. I mean, we don't know the exact details, but there's no way tier 5 will be like moderately hard stuff. It'll be very hard stuff, whether it's solo or in a team. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is for everyone to kind of be thoughtful and truly look inward, because I can understand people being sad if they can't get tier 5 stuff, but then, or at least easily. But then again, isn't that the way it should be? Shouldn't a game have easier stuff to get and harder stuff that not everyone can get?
Harder, yes, but it has to be accessible, dude. You have to be able to not have to go to Fireteam Finder and find 5 other people that can run it with you. It has to be accessible to the solo player. And I'm not esoteric. I understand that, but I think as long as they...
What about accessible for your abilities? Not everyone is a good player.
Well, then the tier 5 guns will mean even that much more. When someone sees the tier 5 gun and they get that lavish new glow on it because it's a tier 5 gun, which they talked about too, how you'll get a new shader treatment. I love that stuff. But probably what I'll end up doing is figuring out how I can do it with other players in the Discord, like Necromancer.
Well, yeah, because it'll be easier than doing it solo.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably wondering why I'm asking these questions, but like, I think it's an important thing because it brings a bigger conversation of like, are we supposed to be like, I don't know, everything should be accessible in the game. Bungie, give me tier 5 stuff for not hard.
No.
I think it's okay to have,
give me, make me earn it, but just make it accessible for their solo players. That's all I'm asking.
No. Well, you can't use the word earn and accessible because the only way you can get is through challenging stuff. Not everyone has that ability to pass challenging stuff. Their fingers can't move as fast. They don't have hand-eye coordination. They can't pass harder level stuff. So do you think Bungie should cater it so anyone can get it with any ability? Or do you think it's legit only if you've practiced for years or you're a really good player, that's how you earn it?
I don't know how to, I don't have enough information to answer that question.
Yeah.
Once they show us here, now you have a tier 3 weapon. Now here's the process. Here's the UI. This is how you decide to move it up to a tier 4. You have to do this. So until I know how they're, how we're going to do that, I don't have enough information right now to fully answer that.
Well, I don't even think you move it up. They just said you get the higher tier by running the more challenging activities.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a lower level activity, you may only get up to tier 3, but if you're doing a challenging activity, then you can get the tier 5.
As long as it's available for the crazy solo players that can do it, then when they earn it, it'll mean something. I don't want, believe me, I do not be
sad if you don't have it, or
I'll be sad, but I'm telling you, if there's a gun that I really love and I really want to unlock all the perks on it, and there again, I think the perks are going to be RNG, which goes back to my point. They need to have weapon crafting, but I'm not going to go down that road today. Maybe another time. I know, but
so they said they're not. Last November, they said weapon crafting is only cupping to weapons after a while,
like a catch-up mechanic.
Confirms it,
right?
Yeah, as a catch-up mechanic. So new stuff will never have weapon crafting, at least for the short to medium term, because that's what they told us.
Yeah.
So all this stuff you will not be able to craft for a while, at least.
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay running a Grandmaster level Lost Sector with like 10 modifiers on it, let's just say that's how you have to do to get tier 5.
Yeah.
But chances are, and I'm not saying anything on your ability, I probably wouldn't be able to do it either. Chances are you probably wouldn't be able to pass that. Then will you be upset? Oh, Bungie, you should be giving us tier 5 for easier. I see the arguments a million miles away, not from you necessarily, but from people in general. Like, make tier 5 easier. That's the arguments I'm hearing, even from a million miles away.
If tier 5 actually is a much more powerful weapon, and it's been proven that it's worth trying to strive for, you'll be surprised how many times I'll run that Lost Sector until I finally get it. And when I do, it'll be like that Trials moment when I'm at the lighthouse.
Well, no, it's not about how many times you run it. You have to run it on a super hard mode. You may not even pass it once because it's so hard.
But the thing about PvE, Kingsley, it's trial and error, man. All you have to do is run it enough times. Like I always say, get your reps in. You'll find out, that boss killed me in one shot, so I need to be behind this rock when I get to this point. I've run so many Lost Sectors in Master. You learn where the bosses are. You learn because it is repeatable. Now, if they start doing what they talked about and start having little, kind of like not AI exactly, but tweak things a little bit every time you go through, then definitely going to make it harder. I'm not sure yet. All I know is if I really want the weapon, I really want it, you'll be surprised what I'll do to get it.
Well, yeah, I love to hear. And I agree that you learn the patterns and it's repeatable, but at the same time, there's still a level where people's abilities can't get past that final hop. They can run it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody hits that wall. Everybody hits the wall.
So
everybody hits that wall.
And I just am wondering if tier 5 will be a wall that only 10% or 5% of the population can get to. That's what I'm wondering.
I'm just telling you, esoteric, all you see is his finished product, but you don't know how many hundreds of times he runs through all that stuff before he finally understands and memorizes how to do it. I'm just saying. His
abilities are better than you and me, too.
Absolutely. I mean, that's all he does, but that's all he does. That's his life, is doing that. So, of course, I'm a casual player compared to esoteric, but I'm telling you, I've run through some of these Master Lost Sectors when there's already modifiers built in. And after a few times of getting your butt stomped, you learn real quick, if you want to master this Lost Sector, this is what you're going to have to do. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
they're going to talk about it more down the road. So,
okay. So I expect to hear no complaining from you and others then when it's too hard down the road.
You can't pin me down, man. Not yet.
All right. Armor 3.0.
Yes.
Armor and gear systems are also evolving to create richer opportunities for build crafting. Players will experience set bonuses. I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
A rework of character stats and armor that starts with full energy. That's always really nice there too. The energy thing was just kind of silly having to build that up, right?
Yep.
Put stuff in to build your armor up to tier 10 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if it's worth the crazy grind to get it, I'll do it, man. I'm a grinder. That's what I do. I like doing that stuff, but it has to mean something. Adept weapons now are okay. They give you a little bit better. And the Adept mods, yes, they give you +10 instead of +5 and a lot of stuff, but you don't really notice it a ton unless you're like,
well, yeah, everyone agrees with that. And that's why I'm pretty confident, even though overall a lot of the stuff in the stream I'm not super excited about, but I give them full confidence. The fact that they have a tier 5 system for weapons, they had to have thought it through some. So it's not going to be like before where Adept was just like 5% better, but a 5-tier system, you really hope that there will be reasons to get the better weapons. Although, of course, if it's really hard for someone, it's going to be very easy for people to use the excuse, "Oh, that weapon's not better enough for me. I don't care."
That's into each individual player, and that decides
exactly
how far they want to try to get that. But yeah,
so stats are
I agree.
Stats are totally changing on the armor, and you can have 200 points, up to 200 points to get them. You can go like above 100 on certain things now, they said, if you want, which that's kind of cool. It's going to be more variable. It's not going to be like levels of 10 or 5 or whatever. Right. Just everything will just matter so much more. We don't know what set bonuses will give us yet, but it's like Diablo. It's like things that other games have had for a long time. And Sin and I have been saying for a while too, you should have set bonuses on armor. Imagine something where you get a full set of all the same armor. We'll just use an easy experience. It's not going to just be raids, but let's just say with a raid. And it needs to be something really cool. Not that it's not just going to work in raids, but let's say you have a full set armor of a raid armor. And what it can do is it needs to be twofold. It needs to have a really cool look and special glow that only you can get when you get that full set bonus. But also it's going to be something where it's like, this is what set bonuses can and should do. I know it sounds OP, but like, it gives you like an extra super you can use. You know what I mean? Something that cool.
Right. I've heard some examples.
I would be impressed.
Like one example I heard today was you get 3 grenades where you can grapple like stasis, but you lose your grenade, all your other grenades, and you lose your melee, which who cares? I never use it anyway. But you have 3 strand grapples. I'm like, that sounds really cool. And it's available to everybody, not just to that, I could see that.
Cool. So you can give it to your players with you in the team or whatever.
Absolutely. That sounds fun.
Cool.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on armor, or we can move on to the next point?
I think we've gone through that.
I know you're excited about this. They are going to have a shooting range in game.
That's awesome. Not only a shooting range, but it's going to measure damage. You can compete with your friends in a competition. It's just going to be, I see this getting used a lot. And like,
not by me so much, but I think it's a really good addition. Obviously, the main reason they're bringing this in is for streamers. It's going to be way better do it here than the stupid thing, Vaulted Glass raid that they've done a million times over and
Amazing
over.
Taco King says, Astrocross will have to find new streaming content then. Well, I'm sure he's a pretty adaptable guy.
No, this will be better streaming content than what they were doing before, actually.
Right. Yeah. He can bring in Les and some of his buddies, and they can all compete to see who gets the highest level. It's endless. Possibilities are endless on it. I like the interface. I like how it's set up, and it's in the tower permanently. I love it.
Yeah.
Well needed. We've needed it for a long time.
Plus, no reason to say anything concerning about that. If you don't care about it, don't use it. But it's really good that they brought that in.
I can finally prove it, Dorath, that extra damage with double primer. Exactly. Me and Kingsley can go head to head one night, and we'll see what works better. Yep. He'll be looking for ammo, and I'll be continue to shoot. I'm just kidding. I'm just throwing shit around. Dorath started it. Dorath started it. Sorry. Go ahead, Vin.
All right. Okay. Also, that's not even going to be a good test because ammo's on them. It says that you can just reload your ammo when we get your ammo.
I know.
All right. It's not going to be about total DPS. It's going to be actual DPS with certain weapons. All right. And then, before we get to the second expansion, because that's the next point on the list, you did skip a couple things at the very top that I wanted to talk about. A lot of people know this already, but we have 2 expansions, and we'll get to the second expansion in a second.
Right.
But we also have what they call a major update, like a halfway point for each thing too. So expansion will be 6 months. So a halfway point, we're getting another update 3 months in.
Right.
And then we'll have another expansion at the end of 6 months, and then another update 3 months in. And then, of course, after that will be a whole new Destiny year. Right. Now, what those updates include in between, so every 3 months, this is what we're getting. I mean, every 6 months, we're getting an expansion with new stuff. But every 3 months think of it as like a season, but they're not calling it that. But they call it a major update. But we'll include things like a new activity, exotic mission, new weapons, new gear, and more. And what the names are, and don't worry, I won't spoil the second one. You can take the lead on that if you want. But of course, we know Edge of Fate, July 15th. But then kind of the thing that's going along with it is Ash and Iron. We don't know what that all means yet, but that's the major update. That'll be like 3 months later on September 9th. Okay.
Right.
And then December 2nd is the next big one, which we'll talk about. And then March 3rd, there'll be Shadow and Order will be the major update. And so really you can think of this as every 3 months we'll have something that's changing a little bit. A new rewards bar. So, you like your rewards bars, season pass bars. It will happen every 3 months. So there'll be 4 for the year. Yeah.
I'm going to...
I just felt like it was important to talk about that. So
yeah, I've got the screenshot of it here if you want me to share it with the chat real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
To make sure I got the right screen.
That would be a good visual representation to show.
We'll find out let me just see where, of course.
And I'm sorry, I guess that was in the TWID also, but since it was at the top of this, I figured I would talk about it. But
let's see if I do it. Yeah, hold on, I can do it this way. I'll just, I just need to pick the right monitor to put it on. Sorry, my bad. There we go.
Well, if you need me to continue on, I can start talking about the next expansion.
Go ahead, and I'll show it. When you're talking, I'll show it. You just keep going on it.
All right.
Yep.
So they gave us a little teaser, which I'm very surprised they did this, because when have they ever shown us something that's coming out later in the Destiny year, even a teaser trailer? I mean, they'll give the names. Like, I think when Final Shape came out, they maybe gave the name of Revenant close by as like maybe they didn't actually, but they actually gave us a teaser trailer, and I know why they did this. I'll get to that at the very end. But December 2nd, we're getting Destiny 2 Renegades. And what is Renegades, Todd?
Renegades is a Star Wars themed, not a Star Wars story. They talk about this in the TWA, but I'll just go share it now. That's one of the questions that came up is this going to be a Destiny game? Is this going to be Destiny? No, it's going to be a Destiny story, but in the theme of Star Wars, which, hold my beer, take my money. I mean, this is awesome, man. Star Wars inspired. Exactly. Amazing Taco King. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how, I don't even know how they got the licensing to do this. I don't care. I'm excited though. And, the major update being Shadow and Order, that's March 3rd, but the actual Renegades will be, like you said, December 2nd. So
yeah,
we got a lot to go before we get to Renegades, but
we do. It's really hard to know what that means, because we know it's not going to be a Star Wars story.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not going to be nothing. I mean, what the words they're using here is they says inspired by the legendary Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. Renegades merges Destiny's distinctive storytelling and gameplay with themes and elements drawn from the iconic sci-fi franchise. What I can gather from that is, okay, and we know if you pre-order, you get some more Star Wars ornaments, but what I can gather is they got to have something that looks Star Wars-y. So maybe we're going into, I kind of know actually what's going to happen, because you know how in this new location in Kepler, they said that there's elements of Earth in it, because kind of like the dark matter, it's almost like there's portals happening and things are being drawn in that are familiar looking. Mm-hmm. Well, to me, this seems obvious how they can bring that Star Wars thing into the story too. There's just going to be little minor Star Wars-y type looking things that are brought in here and there. And the excuse they can use is like, it was just portaled in because of what's happening. Right. It's not going to be like Star Wars characters all running around and like we're going to some Death Star or something. But, there's probably going to be things that look very Star Wars-y here and there. And everyone saw this a million miles away. Renegades, we're going to be doing kind of like, bounty hunters type stuff, which
that sounds awesome.
That's just a term. Like, we already are doing bounty hunter type stuff in Destiny already, but
Amazing Taco King mentioned it'd be cool if there was some world PvP with bounty hunting. That would be cool. It'd be like, what's that game in Infected? You have one person that has the bounty and you have all these people that, are trying to find you and chase you. And then if you stab them or something, they get on your team kind of thing. That would be really cool. And then of course the last man standing wins. But yeah, I mean, they could do there's a lot of things they can do there. It's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say on that? Or I want to talk about like how how you can order it and good ways to buy things and what the 3 different versions are.
Yeah, I'll put that on screen as well. Let me find it first before I put it up there.
You put anything on screen yet? Because I haven't seen anything in Discord.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen in Discord. Sorry, guys.
You don't need to. This is on
YouTube and Twitch. It's on YouTube and Twitch.
Okay,
but if I share my screen now, then it'll show stuff that I don't want people to see. But go ahead and I'll put it on the screen. But go ahead, I'll find it.
No. Yeah, I was just going to look and see if there's anything we missed with that. But yeah, basically, again, 2 major expansions. Each expansion has a halfway point with they call a major update and stuff like that. Also, they told us that in the Renegades expansion, we're going back to the Plague Lands. I'm like,
Yes.
Anyone remember what the Plague Lands are if you played Destiny 1?
I played so much Plague Lands. Yeah, it's going to be so
And then,
awesome.
of course, the question is, we want Wrath of the Machine raid back. That was always the excuse Bungie gave us. They couldn't bring Wrath of the Machine back because it was too hard with all the Siva stuff and the Plague Lands stuff. Well, if Plague Lands is coming back, give us Wrath of the Machine. But
Kingsley would say, bad.
They have told us we have less content for this year than before. We're only getting 1 raid and 1 dungeon. So unless they shadow drop an additional raid on us, which I really don't think they will do, we're not getting Wrath of the Machine. Oh, well, I'm past it. I'm sad. But that's all the details there. Right. But here's how you get all this stuff, people. There are 3 different ways you can purchase it. And of course, we have the recommendation, get it all or whatever. But just so you're aware.
I'm highlighting on the screen.
You can buy a single expansion for $40. And this is cheaper than last year. It was $50 for just Final Shape. Now it's $40. And this is US money. So I don't know what it is in other countries. You can buy everything together, all the content. I'm not talking about the extras, but all the content you can buy for $80.
Yep.
Or they do have a $100 version, the deluxe edition, where it gives you some extra ornaments, the Star Wars stuff. You can get No Land Beyond ahead of time. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can get it when the game comes out, too, for $100.
Yep.
Now, on PC, you're wasting money if you don't order any other way than Green Man Gaming. Green Man Gaming gives you about $20 off.
Right.
And I got the $100 edition for $81. So
not bad.
Everyone check out Green Man Gaming on that. Very legit way to buy stuff. If you've never heard of it before, don't worry. They've been doing this. I bought the last 4 years worth of Destiny stuff at Green Man Gaming. They just give you a code that you get right away. Right. You put it in Steam right away. Like I already have the code. I already put it in and I already got all my extra stuff. I have all my Star Wars ornaments. I have all the extra stuff. I have my No Land Beyond. So why pay $100 when you can get it for $80 basically? So sorry, that's only on PC though. PlayStation and Xbox players have to pay full price.
I had to pay $100 on PlayStation. Yep. But I can share it between all my accounts.
On PlayStation. You should have got it on PC.
I got it on PC as well. I bought it on both because I mean, I'm a content creator. I got to have it on. I have to have games on both platforms.
Yeah, the Green Man Gaming people get it that way on PC.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to say on the price or the details of the expansion?
No, I think the best deal, obviously. And by the way, if you do pre-order the Ultimate Edition, you get instantly in your your little bonus vault that's at the tower. You get 3 Star Wars full outfits, full ornamental outfits. General Grievous, Kylo Ren, and Darth Vader. And boy, I was so happy when I picked that up. So it was a no-brainer for me because I'm a Star Wars nerd and I love Star Wars stuff. And Bungie, take my money. That's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, so, I wasn't going to do that version, but since I got that version for $80, I decided to do it.
I mean, think about it, Kingsley. All I play really is Destiny. I'm going to play some other games here before Destiny, the new content, but I'm going to get 1,000 hours out of this. It's a no-brainer for $100. It's a no-brainer. I mean, you'll spend $50 watching one movie. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So what do you think overall, just honest opinions on all the stuff, how excited you are, if you had to rate it 1 out of 10. And then I also have a bonus question on how do you think how well they presented it?
Yeah,
that's a separate point.
The special deliveries terminal. Thank you, Amazing Taco King. I can't think about words tonight. There's so much swirling in my head right now. I give it, I wasn't expecting as much as we saw because they packed a lot in that reveal. 1 to 10, I give it probably a 7+, 7.5. I mean, it's kind of hard to top the original Destiny, but I'm excited for it. I see myself playing every bit of this. I don't see me taking off that. There's so many pluses here, guys. All this content, if you buy the packs, all the extra content that they release is all free. It's all free. So, the seasons, they said if you want to buy the seasons,
like that if you bought the $100 version.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is no different.
But they said the seasons, if you want to buy them a la carte, I think they said 1,000 glimmer. It's like $10. But if you
They're just using different words to make it sound better, but it's all the same.
Why would you buy the season pass and not get the awesome campaign and the new world and stuff? That doesn't make sense to me. But here was the thing I liked about it.
Answer that, but go ahead.
They're not paywalling everything like they used to. No more raid keys. No more. You got to buy. You have to have this version to get into the raid. Once you buy it, it's done.
Yep. It was only dungeon keys. The raids were always included when you buy the expansion. Yeah,
with the expansion, right? So once you buy it, you're done. Unless you want to buy, stuff from Eververse and stuff, the ornamental stuff. But I did not expect to hear all of this. I was actually keeping my expectations at bay because I get very excited when it comes to Bungie reveals. I always think there's going to be a lot more than there really is. So I tempered my expectations this time around. But the more they kept talking, the more they kept adding, the more stuff they added. And then, of course, they finished with the trailer for Renegades. I was like, that's the perfect cherry on top for me. I'm a little confused about this dark matter things that they have in game, and I hope that doesn't get too gimmicky. That's my only worry there. But other than that, I'm excited for all of it. And why? And no one's surprised. I'm the Destiny shill. I'm excited. I'm excited to play all of this. I cannot wait to see what the solo ops, has. They talked about the new portal system. I wanted to show you guys the AI, what it looks like, and you tell me what you guys think. But here's the portal system. I don't know. It's somewhat interesting to me. You have all your ops right here. You can join in here, and I'm sure once you click one of these ops, it breaks down into something else, other playlists and stuff. But sorry, Discord, I can't see it. But you have your seasonal hub up here for all your seasonal challenges. You can go to the tower right here. You can not play the campaign right here. Everything is on quick launch, and it just seems so easy to me versus, cause there's been a lot of times I'll start a season and I will go to our quest tab, our general tab that shows everything. And I'll go, what's flashing? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to go talk to first? When it's all right there on the screen, it does make it easier. And keep in mind, Kingsley, they're trying to appeal to someone who's never not played a lot of Destiny or has never played Destiny. They're trying to let this be a new entrance into the game. Whether they achieve that or not, I don't know. I don't know what the new player experience is going to be like, but, I'm pleasantly surprised of what I saw. I was more excited than I thought I would be. So,
and then how do you think on how they presented it? Did you like that?
I loved it. I loved it. The marathon reveal was so boring to me because they talk, and then show the gameplay and then talk, and then eventually show like the longer gameplay where the people tested it and stuff. I loved how they integrated cutscenes throughout the live stream. They kind of broke up the dialogue and they shifted people around. They moved they moved the art director in and then moved him out and moved the story director back in. I loved how it was laid out this time. I think they really took a lot of time to plan this out. I'm sure they had lots of time to think about it, but I thought it was the way they had it. And of course, ending with Renegades. I mean, that was, like I said, that was a perfect way to end the stream. So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think it was presented better than Marathon, but I still feel like it was similar-ish. There's something they still need to change and do better. Like, I feel like their older presentations in previous years were way better.
Really?
And I don't know if I'm just thinking that. I saw some other comments, too, online that people are feeling the same way. They need it wasn't bad, but they still need to change it a little bit. The way they presented it wasn't the best, in my opinion. But that's a separate point. I do not take that with content of what's coming up versus I just thought it was an interesting point. Regardless, as far as how excited I am, I'd give it maybe like a 6.5. I also knew to temper my expectations because I know what's coming, and we're getting less overall content this year than in previous years. And, no new subclasses or big things. We'll see how big these locations are and how repeatable everything is. But they use those words, less content this year than in past. That's why the costs are less too, 40 versus 50,
Rise
80
of Iron.
versus 100.
Yeah, Rise of Iron size, a little bit bigger than Rise of Iron. And I remembered Rise of Iron was pretty big. I love the campaign in Rise of Iron. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, it wasn't that big. Yeah, but
I mean, they had the artifacts, the new artifact system. Remember in Rise of Iron?
Yeah, but we're not getting anything like that.
Oh, I know.
But anyways, I'm just talking about the content. Like when they're talking about the expansion, the actual missions and everything. I'm not super concerned. This is about what I was expecting. I'm only about 6.5 excited. I'm obviously going to be playing it. I already pre-ordered it. It's not like I'm saying, oh no, but this is already going in my expectations of how things will be with the game.
Right.
It'll be good, but I think where before with Final Shape, people held on for like between 1 to 3 months and there was a big drop off. I think the drop off is definitely going to happen before 3 months this time. It's going to probably just be like 1 month in and we'll see a big drop off.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's tie in our question of the week, because the question of the week this week was, what are you hoping to see on the Bungie reveal this week? We had, one was, I want to see an entirely new story with a compelling villain. 24% wanted that. And you could pick multiple ones, by the way. New Crucible maps and game modes. Me and some other person picked that one. That was my idea. I'm excited for new weapons, 4%. Only one person picked that. I want to see new systems, quality of life, 20%. And that was one I voted for. I want to see how much new stuff is being added, 32%. I want to see repeatable activity and action, and if there's reasons to repeat it. That was a 12%. So we had quite a bit of people again vote for this and take this survey. By the way, it's question of the week in our Discord if you want to participate in that. McMassiva says, I'm really most curious about the new portal screen and how it's going to work, especially how much solo content they've added. Deadpool and Merc, I'm curious to see the new portal interface as well. However, I want to see what we are going to be getting into and how is Bungie going to keep us wanting more. Content now is slow and I feel the need to add some amazing content to get us engaged. Barrel Barley, 406 said, definitely looking forward to the Rite of the Nine dungeons. And you pointed out that, hey, Rite of the Nine is already out, but he said with that, I'm very much looking forward to the new stuff in the Edge of Fate expansion. I can't wait to see everything they have for us. Now, the one thing I will say, the number one thing, you talked about player numbers going down again. If they have systems in place that keep people engaged and are rewarding and are repeatable, then I think that'll curtail the drop off of players. But it is a 10-year-old franchise, and it is inevitable that people have other games they want to play. And Destiny fatigue is a real thing. So it is always possible for that to happen. But my biggest, if I was to say the one thing that I was really hoping to see in this reveal, is better systems and quality of life, because we play it as a hobby, and whatever makes our daily hobby playing in this game better is going to keep more players in to grind stuff like tier 5 weapons and stuff. So, yeah. Anything you want to add?
Yes, they made a lot of quality of life stuff in Final Shape, but that didn't keep people playing. So,
man, what an expansion too. Yeah. What a hands down the best. But, yeah. Any other comments, Kingsley, on the reveal?
I want to talk a little bit more about what people were worried about too with current weapons, but that can go in the TWID.
Yeah, let's take a quick break here, and we'll get to the TWAB. And there are some questions they answer, but there's ones they do not answer, and we'll do that right after this little break.
Hey y'all, this is Sin from the Guardian Hub podcast, the best hub on the net, and you're listening to the Guardian Downcast, the best cast on the net.
Yeah, I'll Venmo you that later. All right, this week in Destiny for May 8th. Man, May is going to fly by. I'm just telling you right now. 2025. This week in Destiny, we revealed our plans of the Year of Prophecy. We began our dungeon crawling into the Rite of the Nine. How hyped are you for the Edge of Fate? Have you fought through Spire of the Watcher this week yet? And we will check the topics we have for today. Well, obviously they talk about the Edge of Fate reveal event, and we just went over all that, so we'll just breeze right on past by that. They talked about the Renegades trailer. We talked about all the pricing for all of the editions of the game you can buy. They talked about that. They had something called post-reveal frequently asked questions. This is the part I wanted to go over. Since the moment the reveal stream ended, we have been collecting questions from throughout the community on what was shown. There was a lot to chew on while we're planning many follow-up blogs, and that's what we hoped was going to be this week, the biggest blog ever, but apparently it didn't happen. That'll be soon. Twids, interviews, and even another stream to dive into changes to the core game of Destiny. We wanted to deliver a few answers to trending questions. Okay, the first question, will Renegades be a Destiny story? From our assistant game director, Robbie Stevens, which was on the stream, rest assured, Guardians, everything in Renegades is in canon for the Destiny universe, but we're leaning into the aesthetic, tone, and vibe of Star Wars to tell a Destiny story with Destiny characters. Want to comment on that?
So Darth Vader will not be walking around as an enemy. But like I said, we'll probably see like maybe some Star Wars tech here and there that just got portaled in.
Exactly.
But it'll be all Destiny stuff.
What's up, Scarlet Shadow? Yeah. And, you know what this brings back? Battlefront vibes. Remember you could play the heroes when you got so many points. You could go grab a Darth Vader and you go around and just murder everybody on the field. It's not going to be like that. So that they answer that question. The second question, will vault space be increased? Vault space is not.
This is silly. This is a question they already told us the answer.
There's another question that should be in that spot, but I'll answer their response anyway.
I know, right?
Vault space is not changing in Edge of Fate, but we do have additional vault space and quality of life features planned for Renegades later this year.
Yeah.
They
already told us that.
I was really hoping there would be some kind of different system that made us not have to keep stuff in a vault, but I was a little disappointed.
Well, wait, that still could be as part of the quality of life features.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, JD Kent. Misa wants to shoot Jar Jar Banks in the face. Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, this is where I'm being a Destiny hopeful, because the word, see, this wording is not that good. They had way better wording before, unless they changed their mind. But they said they are working on new ways where vault space won't even be an issue. Now it is a little concerning because they said they're going to increase vault space, but I think that's a temporary fix. And then their new thing that they're doing will probably be, this is my guess, but will probably be like a thing that can't go right away. It takes time. So maybe that's why we need the vault space temporarily.
I'm just going to throw it out there because I've said it for years now. Use the collection system to store your weapons. That's all I'm going to say.
Whatever they're working on, it doesn't matter what you say, but
I know
they're not going to change it now. But
we'll see. We'll see what that quote.
But hopefully, it is something like that. I agree.
Yeah, we'll see what that quote quality of life feature is planned for Renegades in December. So, another question I had: will the new portal feature fully replace the director? We already mentioned that. You can easily go, and I showed it on the interface. You can easily go back to the planetoid, all the planet maps. So yeah, that's not going to be replaced. Okay, good question here. Some items were shown at 10 power in the stream. What's going on there? We'll have more details on power caps and climbs in a future TWID, but can confirm that power will be rebased at launch. All players will have their power refreshed as we embark on this new journey. Do not power grind anymore, guys, because it's all just going to be reset.
You never needed a power grind anyways.
No, you don't.
Power doesn't matter.
Only if you have someone in your fire team, even then, it still doesn't matter. I don't even know why we have power anymore, other than watch number go up. I mean, that's really...
Okay, look, exactly. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. There are a few cases, like if you're going to do... and if you need to be the person that someone in the team has to be higher. But for the most part, when I say 98% does not matter, that is true, because if you're in harder level stuff, you go up to 5 within the highest person.
Right.
And then middle to lower level stuff, they just do based on, it's like a plus 10 or a minus 10 based on what you are anyway. So power doesn't matter there. The question I want to have too, I don't care. Okay, they're rebalancing power, but will power still not matter, or will power matter? That's what I want to know. And then other people want to know, do we have to build up again? Well, it could be two different situations. It could be we have to rebuild up and power still doesn't matter. It's just something fun for you to do if you like that. To me, that's not fun at all.
Yeah.
Or it can be power does matter and we have to rebuild up. So I really want to know. I wish they would have told us more on this, but we have to wait. They also said they're not going to talk about, in another help article that came out today, they will address this in June some point.
Okay.
So we're not going to know.
This has been like the number one question in our Destiny chat in our Discord this week.
And we're not going to know till June, unless something leaks out.
Are weapons getting soft sunset? I mean, are what's going to go? I mean, the one thing they did say, and this is one of the questions they had. What stats are being rebalanced or replaced? And he said, as shown in the stream, many of our stats are fully rebalanced or changed with the Edge of Fate. While we don't have exact details to share just yet, we are planning a full breakdown in June alongside a lengthy article covering sandbox tuning between weapons and abilities. So basically what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments on that, or I could talk about?
My biggest fear is that they're soft sunsetting all of our weapons, especially the crafted ones that I cherish. I'm hoping that they're going to, like, crafted weapons will automatically be turned into a tier 3 or something. I hope they rebalance all the weapons that way in this new system. I don't think they're going to configure I think they're soft sunsetting.
They don't have the time or ability to do that. There's millions of weapons.
I think they're going to they said they're going to reconfigure the stats. I don't know that they may be soft sunsetting our armor as well. So this is what I'm thinking about. I'm jumping into Ride at 9. I'm getting all these weapons from the 1500 9 currency they gave us for a default. And I'm getting all these weapons. I'm like, do these weapons even count? Do they even matter? I mean, they
don't matter for even another reason. Forget this thing for a second. People are saying the weapons are very mid anyways. So you don't need to feel bad about it anyways. Yeah. The weapons aren't that great anyways, but,
well, I mean,
but okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
On this point, yeah, if you wanted to say more, sorry.
Well, Necromancer just had a good comment. He says, "I hate pinnacle grinding when I'd much rather just play what I want to play." Yeah, that's what they're getting to.
Well, no, we don't know. Yeah, because if power is going to start to matter, okay, and that's back on the other point. If power is going to start to matter, then we do have to pinnacle grind.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping power is not going to matter. People only pinnacle grind now, mostly just to be the top person in a team, or because they feel good about reaching that limit. There's very, very, very rare situations where you need to be at the highest level. Power basically doesn't matter right now.
Yeah.
And then on the weapons,
that's my worry.
We have already kind of had soft sunsetting for a while, because when weapons get re-released with new, better perks, doesn't that mean the older ones are basically useless?
Nope. I still got a bunch of weapons from pre-Forsaken days. That I still have in my vault.
Most people, because if the new perks are better, they want the new perks, not the old perks.
But it's nostalgia. I don't want to get rid of that weapon. I remember it did so many things.
I didn't ask nostalgia. I said, aren't the newer weapons better because of the better, newer perks?
I'm sure. Yeah.
So we've already kind of had. I'm trying to be realistic here, people. Now this will be a bigger version of soft sunsetting, but this is how I think the game always should be anyways. If they're going to come out with new weapons, we should be using the new weapons for the most part. Not all new weapons will be great, but for the most part, we should be using at least some of the new weapons.
Yeah.
And so remember when they redid Armor 2.0 a while ago, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Did you really care that much of your old Armor 1.0 when all is said and done?
No, I immediately dismantled it because it didn't have the same slots and stuff that the new, so we're going to have to do it again.
So, but shouldn't you be sentimental from your old Armor 1.0?
No, I'm not as sentimental about Armor, but one thing I think the reason they're doing this, Kingsley, is I think they want the new player to come in and be on an even playing field with everybody else that's been playing forever. I think this is the great big reset that they're going to do, so the new players can finally jump in and go, okay, I'm on the same level as everybody else, so let's go.
Makes sense. Yeah,
it just depends. I didn't really even think about that. Depends on their new player experience. That's really what it's going to come down to. And I don't know what they have planned for that, but what they have now just sucks. I'm just saying it does.
Yeah, but also for technical reasons, they had to do it too. There's no way they can make every single old weapon fit in this new system.
Yeah.
So if they could do that, they could also bring back all the old content. And there's no, you know what I mean? So
Dorat did say, they originally said when they mentioned the new armor months ago that the old armor would be converted. That may have changed though. I don't know. But what my question is, Dorath, is what about our weapons? Are they going to be reconfigured or converted?
If they can be converted, there's no way they're going to be converted to anything higher than a tier 3, obviously.
Yeah.
And then remember, you can't go up levels within that. So if they get converted to a tier 3, they're stuck at tier 3. You're only getting tier 4 or tier 5 by playing harder level stuff. Maybe an adept would get converted to a tier 4.
Right.
But don't expect your old weapons to ever have a way to get to tier 5. You're going to have to play that harder level stuff to get tier 5 stuff.
And Allocate in Twitch makes a good point. Do people care about the armor or just the drip? I mean, as long as I have the ornament, I guess that's all that matters. I'm just plugging it in.
Yeah, that's true.
To high stat armor. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, and why not just do that with some weapons too? As long as the archetypes are the same, can't you just change the look? I'd be fine with that. But
and JD Kent says,
you think there's bad reasons.
Well, JD Kent mentions also that they're going to have new origin traits to the weapons. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this tier weapon system because it seems like it's enhanced plus, which means it's going to be RNG again, and I don't like the new enhanced system that they have. It's very expensive and. I'm not going to go down that road tonight. I'm not getting.
Of course,
it's
RNG. They've told us that since last November.
I know, and RNG is how they get people to play. Amazing Taco King's weird. He says, I still have 1.0 armor piece in my vault. Yeah, you're just weird. Sorry, buddy.
Were you hoping that they would change their mind and say, oh, we were just kidding about that? It's coming back to crafting.
I don't know, but I there's so much unanswered here. It just makes me mad. But, let's move on to some good news, Kingsley, because I want to talk about
bad news. That was realistic news.
I'm depressed now. I'm depressed because I have a feeling I'm going to have to redo all my weapons, and I've got I have a good collection of weapons. Anyway.
Hey, well, there's your grind.
Speaking of grind, Heavy Metal is tomorrow, if you're listening right now.
Yeah.
If you're listening on Monday on the audio version, then it's already happened. But it's time to put your best pilot overalls and rage against the machines in Heavy Metal. We put the Briggs and Drake tank. We put the Briggs and Drake tanks, Todd, and all you just make crazy plays. Electric guitar riffs not included. It'd be great if we could see never mind. Heavy Metal arrives.
Music? Yeah, right.
I'd love to hear some never mind. Heavy Metal arrives with our new take on events. Say goodbye to event cards and welcome to event homes. They talked about this previously. It's
the one strike with Sepkix or whatever his name. That's the Heavy Metal.
Exactly. Exactly. But you read all about the Heavy Metal home in our April 24th tweet. And like I said, the event cards are gone. So I'm 99% sure they said they are free. So I'm looking forward to this because the one thing you're going to get is a combat Sparrow, which we've been wanting for a long time. So, and they did mention, I was listening to, I think on the reveal about this combat Sparrow that there's going to be some build crafting involved with this. They didn't want to share too much. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, even though it's a fun kind of quirky PvP game, I mean, it's going to be hilarious. I mean, I'm just going to be giggling like a little boy, stomping people with my tank.
You can also giggle like an adult if you want.
Okay. You can giggle any way you like. That's fine. Yes. As Taco King says, also the launch of the new event home tab. So expect server breaks. Oh, please don't. No. Maybe I'll just go to work that day. Tomorrow. I have to work anyway. Doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, that is coming tomorrow, which I'm going to jump in probably tomorrow night. Cause they're going to have to work some kinks out probably during the day. There'll probably be some patch they have to put in or something's not working right or anything new in a Bungie system. You might have some hiccups, but I'm going to play it tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we can do that, instead of our raid on Saturday, Kingsley. Why don't we get everybody together and play Heavy Metal? Sure. We'll see what everyone wants to do. But there's a Heavy Metal tournament update. They announced that already. Go back to last week's TWAB if you want to know about that. It is between on Twitch on May 9th and May 16th. You can receive the Mad Dog emblem if you watch for 1 hour the tournament on Twitch. Let's see. And they did talk about this. They have a creator hub. Destiny 2 creator hub is here. As a streamer, video editor, lore specialist, artist, cosplayer, or any other form of content creator, would you like to be a part of a tight-knit Destiny 2 creator community which hopes to uplift you and your content? After a long soft launch period, we are pleased to officially open our Destiny 2 creator hub to public application. So if you're an artist out there or a lore expert or something and you want to join this, they are accepting applicators. The link is in the TWAB for this week.
Wonder if they have stuff for podcasters too. We should check it out.
But they did say that, due to the highly anticipated volume of applications, we will not be responding to every single application. Yeah. So ask for your patience and understanding as you get through everything. I don't know. We might apply. I mean, I guess we could apply. I mean, at least try. Yeah, at least try. Why not? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been doing a Destiny podcast for 6 years now almost, so that has to carry some weight, right? There's some voice acting updates for Ride of the Nine. Here's the part I want to get to, the player support report, because there's a few things in here we need to talk about, right? There was a problem with pre-order items info. The special deliveries kiosk is what I'm talking about. I guess some people, it says you can pick up your pre-order items there. You may need to sign out and back into the game if they're not appearing, because the proper
always
license.
Like that, people.
That's a license reload. Yeah, that's all that is there.
Yeah,
I had no problem. It was there waiting for me when I did it on console.
But if it's not, just wait a little bit. Reboot, right? That's turn it off and on again. Ride of the Nine, the First Watch and Elegant Arsenal quest fix. Remember, people are saying they weren't getting credit for a lot of the bounties that were coming out. That's all been fixed. We mentioned that midweek. Cruel Mercy clarification. In last week's TWID, we announced the new Nightfall pulse rifle. Cruel Mercy would drop with jolting feedback. This was incorrect, and it should be stated that it'll drop with Rolling Storm instead, which is just as good, I think. That's going to be a good perk. Anyway, they've corrected the error in the TWID, so I'm sure there's people out there that are like, actually, you missed this part. Anyway, anything else on that list, Kingsley? It's a lot of stuff that we've been dealing with for a while. Yeah,
now.
I mean, also weapons are dropping with 0 power level. This can be fixed by infusing. Also, Explorer difficulty requires PlayStation Plus if playing solo, which is kind of weird.
It is.
I mean, this is kind of par for the course when a drop comes out. Yeah. We have a fair amount of, a little bit more than normal, a fair amount of little issues that are happening. Right. So, nothing too crazy, but stuff too. And some things like we saw have already been fixed. So here's another one. Carry of the 9 that were put in the vault cannot be converted to non-nary manifolds. Non-nary manifolds are the new currency you get where you can buy the weapons and other things and that new social space. And I don't know why they had yet another currency, Curio of the 9, which we didn't know what it was for a while. But you can turn those into this other currency. But I guess if you put them in the vault, you can't.
Kingsley,
I don't know why people would have done that. But.
Sorry, I got to go unlock a door for my daughter real quick. Just keep
noise.
Carry on. I'll be right back.
Let's see. As far as other new stuff, that's most of it right there. I ran that new version Explorer mode of the dungeon. It was kind of cool to try that experience. I did it match made. And I know other people in the Discord have had this same opinion that I've had with in the past, where Bungie should do more stuff match made. They've always taken a very safe and conservative approach on that, where Nightfall's only the lowest level. Is it called expert? I forget what that level is, if anyone's in the chat, but only that lowest level can be match made. I'm like, well, I understand not matchmaking Grandmaster, but come on, you can do at least the next level up or so. Dungeons, I'm like, yeah, they can be match made. Well, finally, we're getting that. I tried the match made, and it worked really well, especially when they have the little indicators everywhere telling people what to do. Now, my team, I could tell, because especially I ran it on reset on Tuesday. My team, even though it was match made, you could tell they knew what they were doing when we were running around the dungeon and doing the stuff. But for people that don't, it doesn't even matter, because you don't have revive tokens. They did it in a way where the matchmaking is working sense. And that's where I think it's a big win. I would even like to eventually see the point where we have Explorer easy mode raids that are even match made. Now, that might be pushing it a little bit, a group of 6 people versus a group of 3. But I still think it could be tried. It's not like you have to pick that option. You can still go in with your team. You don't have to pick the match made version. But I still think it's a big win that they've done that with the dungeon, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, I'm all for that, man. I love this Explorer mode where they are teaching people how to run the dungeons, at least 3 of them. And I love that part, because I need a refresher on some of these dungeons, because it's been a while since I've run a few of them. When they first come out, I'd run them one time and not go back. I don't know. I'm just weird about dungeons. I don't know why, but
I kind of started talking about other things aside from the TWID because they had some things in there about the dungeon. One last thing I want to say, because this is stuff I was kind of thinking about anyways on that is the Explore mode. It is easier and they have icons telling you what to do and there's no tokens. So you can just revive yourself. No darkness zones or anything. Right. However, the enemies, they pretty much hit as hard as they did in the past. And with the ad density in, I mean, they seem to be the same difficulty as normal, how it was in the past. Of course, they have the harder modes now, too. Right. But if you go in solo, even though it's easier figuring out what to do, you can still get murked pretty easily from the enemies. Now, of course, you can just revive yourself right away. There's no tokens or anything, but don't expect this Explorer mode to be baby mode with the enemies. You can still get murked is kind of what I'm getting at. Okay. And I've seen reports of people still taking anywhere from an hour or two going in solo. So if you really want to go in solo, don't think you can pass the dungeon in 30 minutes necessarily if you haven't done it yet. So do plan on still an hour or two if you need that amount of time.
I'm going to try it and I'll report back next week. But we'll just have to see. I really haven't had time to jump into it yet. And when I heard they were having all the problems with the bounties not completing and stuff, I was like, okay, I'll just wait a couple of days here. And of course it got fixed.
It's the quest, but same difference.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else? That's it for the TWAB.
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's get into some questions from our community and we'll call it a night. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, this is the time in our show where we get our questions from you guys, and we have a question here from Barsh Roar. Hey, loving the show over the last weeks, and congrats again on the 300 episodes. Thank you very much, sir. My question is, do you think the reveal this week has done enough to make your average Destiny 2 player come back for this new saga? Do you think they did enough to tease our new protagonist? What do you think, Kingsley? We kind of graded it, but what do you
protagonist, think? Not so much, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me. Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff there, of course. I mean, we're always the star of the show either way, right?
Yeah.
Good or bad, because Guardians have not always done good things.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know.
Do you think
Have you heard of people that haven't been, I guess the only fair way to answer this question is, have you heard of people that haven't been playing Destiny for the last 6 months to a year and they said they're coming back for this?
I'm sure there's a little bit of buzz. I'm sure there's a little bit of buzz after this, especially about the Star Wars stuff. How many people that'll bring back? I don't know. I know there's a lot of Destiny players out there, ones we know that aren't playing Destiny right now, and that they're probably going to show up for the expansion. Some maybe,
guess, but I haven't heard any yet, so that's why I'm a little concerned about.
That means some maybe they won't, but I guarantee if no one shows up, that'll be it for Bungie. They're really banking on this expansion to keep going, and I mean we didn't even talk about this, but they actually talked about all the expansions going into 2026 as well. I think they mentioned the Alchemist, and I don't remember what the third one was. Do you remember what it was? The Alchemist was one of them.
I don't know. But when you say they're really banking on it, do you think they are hoping it needs to do as good as Final Shape?
I don't think it will.
I don't think
that's, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, this is
I don't think it is
post Final
either,
Shape. A lot of people just said bye Felicia when they played the campaign in Final Shape. They thought that was it. That's my Destiny career. It's done.
Well, I said this already, it will bring back 50 to 75%. I know that's a big range of what Final Shape had. That's what I'm predicting. But is that good enough for what they want? You know what I mean? But
remember what the numbers were for Final Shape concurrent? I mean, the day one.
I don't know.
I know. Lightfall was almost 1 million. It set records, in fact, for Bungie. But then people got burned in Lightfall, and I know it wasn't quite 1 million for Final Shape, but it was still very respectable. We should probably do a bet on that, on numbers, what we think the numbers will be. Let me think on it some more before we.
I don't know if I want to take that bet
it's a little early. Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's not even interesting to me. So I would just throw out some vague thing. But and I know people say, well, you can't go 50, 75%, but okay, I'll go in the middle. I'll go 66%. But
yeah.
But there's no way it's going to be the full amount of Final Shape. And to be fair, I don't think it'll be less than 50%. So that's why I kind of had that 50 to 75% number. So
that sounds about right to me. I can't argue with that point. We'll have to see. You know, Bungie, man, they're a promotion machine when it comes to the Destiny game. They'll really get us hyped up. And we haven't really heard about a protagonist, right? We haven't really heard about much about. I mean, we saw a little bit about what's going on in the 9, but other than that, they haven't shared much. And I have a feeling they're going to probably share more as we get closer to that July 15th date. Thank you, Necromancer. July 15th, The Edge of Fate. December 2nd, Renegades, summer 2026, Shattered Cycle winner. And then 2026 later, probably December again, The Alchemist. They already talked about the next 4 DLCs over this year and next. So, thank you for that. I don't always have that information on hand. I'm looking at 4 screens at once here, and my ADHD is going off the charts tonight.
Okay, so here's the thing, too.
Yeah.
Since they already have that 2-year plan, it doesn't even matter even if this one doesn't do that great. I think Sony and management would probably have enough, because, they work on things 6 months at least ahead of time. I really don't think the year after the 9 will get canceled. But if it does really bad, then we probably won't see something the year after that.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this will be enough. They don't have, they have half the staff they used to. A lot of their PvE contingents went over to make Marathon. So I think a lot is going to be riding on Marathon's success as well. I think that's going to decide where the studio as a whole goes and what Sony decides to do if Marathon should fail, like their previous arena shooter didn't do too well. But JD Ken, I don't look so close at the player numbers. I always check to see if the player is in the top money makers each year. It has yet to disappoint. Yeah, it has a loyal following. That's for sure. There's a lot of games coming out though in the next year, and there's going to be a lot of competition. I mean, I'm already looking forward to Borderlands 4. I can't wait to play that. I didn't play 3 very far because I just got bored playing it. But they're talking about all kinds of RNG drops in Borderlands 4 and similar to Destiny guns and stuff. And I don't know.
But also it doesn't matter how much money it makes respective to other games necessarily.
Yeah.
It matters what Bungie and Sony need. Because remember, they did tell us with Final Shape, it didn't make as much money as they were hoping. And that was one of the reasons why they cut some more staff.
Yeah, so. I get you. Dorath had a question in our Discord, our Destiny questions. Regarding Explorer mode, I believe it's a fantastic addition and should be extended to more modes in the future, such as raids, and you just mentioned that, Kingsley. However, I recently played a matchmaking Explorer mode, and my experience was that the other 2 players were completely clueless about the mechanics. As a result, I ended up doing all the work for them. Oof. That made me feel like I had ruined their learning experience. Should a more experienced dungeon or raid player sit back and let the Explorer mode teach those players who are randomly matched with them? Then once they've caught on, or should they start helping with it? Man, that's a good question. I didn't even think that'd be a problem. Dora.
No, this is a really good question.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, there's 2 ways to answer this. First of all, if you're going into match made and you don't have a lot of experience, you shouldn't expect you're going to learn everything in a match-made experience. Even strikes that are easy, the first time you run them, you're not going to learn everything. Even if people take them slower, which I have been in strikes that people have taken slower, they don't always run ahead. And then also with this, I noticed that even though I said that the people seemed like they knew what they were doing, one guy was a little behind at first. And the other guy did wait, and then I waited also for him to catch up, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. I think there's two different ways you can take it. I think what I would personally do is I did try to actually not shoot some things as quickly to see if the other people would shoot them. I was trying to give them a little personal chance to shoot it. Mm-hmm. But at some point, since you don't have communication, you shouldn't and can't do that for too long. You got to just start doing things because you're just wasting your time if you give them like 20 minutes and they're still not doing anything. Right. And that's okay. Match-made is not supposed to be a total learning thing. If they wanted to learn it, they should have gone in solo. If they want to semi-learn it over multiple times, you go in match-made. So I get what you're saying, Dorwath. It's a really good question. I don't think you need to stress about it too much. Maybe kind of maybe give them a little bit of a chance at the beginning, but I wouldn't give them too much chance and then just start going for it.
Okay. I haven't run it yet. I haven't run it yet, yeah. So I can't answer that. I plan on running it solo, but I'll have to try to do the matchmaking setting and see what happens, just to see what kind of experience I get. For the experience,
you can see what it's like, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm jumping into it solo just to remember all the mechanics, and then once I get those down, I'm probably just going to jump out and go get a team and go to a higher level match-made.
The higher levels, you can't do the higher levels match-made, unfortunately.
You can't? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well,
I know.
It is what it is, I guess. We have one more Destiny question from the original Jimmy Rayner. What are your wildest takes as of what you wish to be an armor set bonus? You know, they mentioned there's going to be set bonuses for armor. What are your wildest takes, Kingsley? What would be a wild set bonus?
Well, if you remember, we did answer this too. I said maybe you get a second super.
Oh man,
remember? Yeah,
I didn't hear that. Would you just say it tonight? I'm so bad.
Yes, I said that tonight.
Bad. Sorry, man. I'm so bad.
But that I wasn't even trying to be that wild. Probably something that would be even more wild is with the set bonus, you have some this would be wild. This probably wouldn't or shouldn't happen, but you have some pretty regular invisibility that you could have. Maybe not like 100% invisibility, but like super regular invisibility you could have. That'd be pretty wild if you had a set bonus that could do that.
Akimbo sidearms. Boom. Done. Let's go in there like John Wick.
Yeah.
Let's load up everything. No, I would probably go unlimited ammo. Would be awesome. Like
heavy?
Everything. Unlimited.
Yeah.
You never run out of it. That'd be a really hot take. I don't know if they would go that crazy, but that'd probably be a balance.
Probably not, but that is pretty wild. Problem. That's a good answer.
Yeah. No reloading. Just consistent ammo. You never run out. That'd be really cool.
That'd be less wild.
That'd be
I could see maybe that happening.
That'd be a hell of a set bonus.
Yeah, that would.
I see the set bonuses for the seasonal gear right now, and it's okay. You get a little more XP. I always forget to throw it on when I'm turning in bounties or doing activities that go to the XP for the event. But, yeah, here we go. JD Kent, bring back where you can turn enemies to fight on your side. I remember that perk. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That'd be a great set bonus. You can recruit, up to 4 enemies to fight with you.
Yeah. We had, so they had things like that kind of in Destiny 1. And then also in Destiny 2, we had the frames that would kind of fight with us, but they weren't super powerful.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In the Lost Sectors here. I remember that. Okay.
Maybe you could plant like a turret or something, like an actual big turret, like a onslaught turret or something, you know? Yeah. I'd be into that.
They've kind of done it a little bit like that already, like I said, in the Lost Sectors, but they're not the most effective. They admit they're like stormtroopers.
And again, with set bonuses, they need to be good because, like you said, like we kind of have already had that, but just like we've already had adept weapons and stuff, but like the set bonus stuff is pretty lame so far. So what are they going to do to actually make us like it this time? And then you run into the whole problem. If they make it too good, then it'll be OP, and then it'll break the game, and they'll just tune it back anyway. So it's always a hard sell, hard way to figure it out.
It's got to be worthwhile, though. It's got to be something that's going to give you a definite advantage to have that set. Then you'll be wanting to collect the whole set, right?
Yeah. Now, it's normal to not have every set bonus be worthwhile. You say, well, why not? Well, I mean, every game is like that, unfortunately, to have set bonuses. Not every single one will be worthwhile, right. But they need to have at least a third or more that are super good. Because then if they don't have at least that many, we're not going to go for it.
Well, it's like Iron Banner. You have to have all the Iron Banner ornaments or armor and ornaments on to a certain amount. And then you have to have one armor or one Iron Banner weapon. And then you have to have the emblem. All gives you a multiple XP to ranking up your Iron Banner. Something like that would even be good if it's depending on what the currency and what we're trying to rank up that stuff. But, yeah, we'll have to see.
XP, that's not worth it.
Oh, come on. Well, if you have limited time to play Iron Banner, it's nice to have all those bonus XP grind. That way you don't have to play as long.
But I mean, a set bonus armor piece, I don't want to have
in
XP.
PvE, yeah, who knows? But I'm curious if they'd have PvP bonuses as well for some armor. That would be cool too.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be nice. All right.
Although some people may like that. So maybe that's going to be, everyone's going to want, I want this set bonus. Bungie, create this set bonus. There are going to be people that want an XP one. And yeah, you can get that with the ghost stuff. But imagine if they had a set bonus that gave you like 100% bonus XP all the time. Some people would really want that.
That's the reason I put it on my ghost, blinding light. Exactly. Stuff like that. Little stuff adds up. And more glimmer. I've done the glimmer farm videos. You know what I mean by that stuff. So, but, all right. That's all the questions we have. If you want to leave us a question, by the way, it's podcast questions in our Discord. You can do that. You can come to the chat and enter your question into chat and we'll highlight it on the screen. And, or you can email us, guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or you can go to our website. There's all kinds of ways to contact us there. So don't forget, we have that website where you can actually leave a voicemail message as well. I love voicemail messages, but it's been quiet lately. And it's probably because, everyone's kind of in limbo now with Destiny, and I'm hoping those voicemail messages will pick up. That's one thing our patrons pay for, is that voicemail upgrade. So, use it, guys. Use it. It's out there. Send us a voicemail. Talk to us. It's like you're right on the show with us, and it'll pipe through my soundboard and everyone will hear it and they hear the question. So all you need is a phone, a voice, press record, hit stop, enter your gamer tag, and hit send. It's that easy. It's super easy.
And then no scope 360.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice to have too. But that's it, guys. That is our show tonight. It's funny. We were expecting this mountain of TWAB that was going to be coming our way. And once we saw the TWAB that they put out this afternoon, Kingsley messaged me and says, well, not the largest TWAB on record. I guess they're going to do that later. So we'll let you know when that TWAB comes.
I didn't say that.
Well,
I said TWID.
Yes, TWID. Yes, TWID. You're right. This week in Destiny. That is true.
You can say TWAB if you want, but don't put TWAB on me.
Okay, fine. But so we actually were thinking they were going to give us a lot more answers to questions that we had in our Discord this week. And when they didn't, we were kind of a little let down. So we decided instead we wanted to break down the reveal for those who weren't able to see it, or maybe just to break it down and discuss the different topics. So we appreciate everyone who chimed in. Man, we had a lot of people chiming in tonight.
Lots of stuff. And we appreciate all the commenters.
Yep.
I mean, exactly. We've got the normal names in here. I love hearing from JD Kent, Tajo, everyone who's been in here.
Yep.
So we can't name everyone, but just love having you guys here. And
absolutely.
Thanks for chatting back with us.
Hey everyone, as I take my mandatory bathroom break, I'd like to thank our Patreon community for giving back and continue to help out a listener-supported podcast like this one. If you've received any value for today's episode and want to give back, check out guardiandowncast.com and select the Patreon button to learn more about it. Now let's return to the conversation. And yes, I did wash my hands. Later, Guardian. Every now and then I like to give a shout out to a member of the week. This is someone that I've noticed more active in our Discord community and has gotten involved in our show and just generally been a good person. As a reward, I like to give them a shout out on the show. They'll receive a special community member of the week role in a Discord with a nice little icon next to their name as well, representing Guardian Downcast. Our member shout out of the week, he's been a recent member, but has been very active in giving feedback on our show and our topics. And he's also a Discord Nitro booster, which helps award our server extra perks for you guys to enjoy. So congrats to Dorath. Thanks for hanging out with us, sir, and congrats on being our member of the week. Special shout out goes to our patrons of the show. A big shout out to one of our newest Fist Bump members, Kilvin. Thank you, sir. They give back to our show where we would normally have to get that money from sponsors and advertisers, and I hate advertisers. So a big thank you to all our patrons out there who continually, month after month, help support all the little functions of our community and our podcasting and our production costs and our hosting costs. I can go on and on. It's a lot of different things that we have to pay for. But a quick shout out to our Dungeon Champion patron, Deadpool1 Merc. A thank you to our Raid Boss patrons, Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Thanks again to our awesome patron community. Some final thoughts to wrap up the show this week. I'm really excited for this summer with the new expansions that have been shared via the live reveal from Bungie, especially the Star Wars themed expansion Renegades, which will come in December. That's going to be a fun month, man. We covered a lot tonight, and we actually thought that Bungie was going to throw down a record-breaking TWAB like they mentioned in the reveal event, but I guess that's for another week. But rest assured, we'll be there to talk about it when it does finally happen. So what do you think? Are you looking forward to playing Edge of Fate on July 15th? Let us know. You can email us at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. You can always talk to us in our Discord. That's discord.gg/guardiandowncast, or send us a voicemail at guardiandowncast.com. Next week, Kingsleymac will be out of town, but Mr. RNG Gator has agreed to stop back by and fill in for him. And we welcome another brand new guest of the show from our community. I can't wait to talk with him or her. I mean, they've been a part of our community for years, and I don't know. I guess it's on me. I forgot to ask them to be on our show. My bad. I'll announce more details first of the week in our Discord where you can send them some questions. I gave it away, didn't I? So you can send them some questions. If you have some questions for him or her. Remember, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you working that second shift, I see you. I'm right there with you working in this hot Florida sun. We're just now getting these afternoon thunder showers that we normally get in the summer, and the humidity is cranking up. So it is brutal right now. It's really the test of being a Floridian, is getting through our summers. And we're not even talking about hurricanes yet. Knock on wood. I knocked on wood. Anyway, just know I'm always thinking of you and preparing our next show. You can always join us live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch, YouTube, and Discord live channel. That's ToddtheGatr, 2 Ds and GATR. And of course, our stage channel and our Discord. And if you can't make it, remember there's always replays where you can watch it back whenever you can. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection for our new listeners out there. We have 302 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. We talk Destiny and whatever our roundtable episodes topics will be. So take a look at those, especially, like I said, if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, tell a friend about us. Everything is at guardiandowncast.com. Special thanks to my co-host, Kingsleymac. You can find him in our Discord. Also have the links to his socials as well. You can, like I said, contact me, ToddtheGatr, across all socials and gaming platforms. And you can reach me via email at ToddtheGatr@gmail.com. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, Ride of the Nine, take breaks, get outside and touch grass. Bazooka Tooth. Yeah, I see you. Hey, remember, we're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. Exactly. So thanks everyone for coming out tonight. If you are interested in joining our community, it's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. We're one of those little known Destiny podcasts that have been out there forever. We know all the big ones out there, but a lot of people don't know about us. So do me a favor. If you're out and about or you're gaming with some of your buddies, mention, hey, check out GuardianDowncast.com and check out this new podcast. That's really the only way we grow. So, do us a favor. If you really like what you hear, you're entertained every week by us and you like looking at this. I won't speak for Kingsley. He's much better looking and younger than me. So, then, tell others about it. Tell other Destiny players about it and send them our way. I didn't think I'd ever like this, but I was nervous about live streams, but I love interacting with the chat. I'm addicted to it now. I mean, I'm looking at the chat every chance I get. And when people want to chime in and stuff, I have a program where it sends it right on the screen where people can read it that are maybe just watching it back later and they can kind of get the feel of if they were in the chat. So, do us a favor. Just send them to GuardianDowncast.com. All our contact, all our info is right there on that site. Again, our patrons pay for all of that. So, definitely use it. It's there for us to use and, take advantage of. So, yep, let's do it. All right. We will see you guys in the Discord. Love y'all. And remember, we'll see you in the Discord. And later, Guardians.
Have a good one.
Dude, wait till you're 10 years older. You're not going to take shit from anybody, dude. You'll just be like, I don't give a fuck.